Test, test.
But I
Hello.
can hear you.
Who's that?
Okay.
It was
so
Rory.
supposedly we are back now.
Are we back?
I suppose chat will let us know.
Maestron said we're back.
Alright, good, we're back.
So I guess we'll have to explain Ark again when Webster gets around to it.
I guess we can just do that then. Webster won the card tournament, so he will not have to go to the Daguerreotype. Neff did lose earlier, so in about an hour and a bit, he will have to take a detour.
So right now you're seeing Nep do the Sid minigame. You were paying attention. He just failed the minigame 5 times. He did that on purpose because until you do that, this minigame is actually extremely hard, especially if you're trying to do it fast. Because the enemy, the hedgehog pie in the cage right there, can turn around extremely fast and unpredictably, and it's really, really hard to do it first try, and no runners go for it, really, because it's just that risky. So once you fail it 5 times, he can't turn around as fast anymore. Theoretically, it would save a little bit of time to not do that, but it's too risky, because if you get all the way almost there and then fail, then you have to start all over again.
I hear that the second place time in this game is a very bold strategy where the runner examines the weights to see which weight is weight of which.
Also, no one died at Ark, so that's pretty good for AP.
Yes, if people die to Ark, then that is very bad. Less so if it's Freya, I think. But if Zidane or Steiner die, then it's pretty bad, and you have to do a lot of backup strats to fix the AP that you missed.
Yeah, Quina doesn't matter at all. We worked out recently that Freya is actually very easily fixed, but Zidane and Steiner is just terrible if they die.
There's just a quick menu done to Amaranth to give him some skills that give him status immunities, and it also gives him alert that we will not be getting back attacks here.
Oh, I wasn't actually paying attention. Did Webb just get the second Mistodon skipper now?
I didn't see.
I wasn't watching you. I'm sorry, Webster. But Neff has got his first encounter in Desert Palace. The Grimlocks are the worst enemy that you can get here. Remember that he does not have the skill Flee because Zidane is not in the party. So he has to either flee with L1 or R1, which is tough to do when you are so underleveled and it's very random. Or you just have to kill them. So I assume what he will be doing is oh, there we go. He did flee instantly. He did cast Carbuncle, which has a very long animation, so just holding L1 and R1 for the entire time, which kind of gives you a lot of time to flee. But I assume if he didn't flee, if he failed and was still in the fight, then he would try and deal damage or stop the Grimlocks in order to defeat them.
By the way, Webster got both of the skips, so
Very
Nice.
well done to both runners.
So right now, Nep is in the worst dungeon in the game, which is Desert Palace.
So right
Is
now
he-
he's doing like a mini game with these candles. How do you call this? With these fires.
You just have to light them in a specific order.
Yeah.
Funnily
And
enough,
he
you don't
has...
you don't get encounters in this room until after you light the final one right here. And he'll also be picking up the anklet.
anklet. Net.
He's not
He will be
picking up the anklet.
He will be going back
He-
to pick up the anklet.
He should be picking up the anklet. So that bloodstone that he just skipped is normally not necessary, but if you lose the card tournament, then you need an extra anklet to synthesize the rebirth ring later, which Nep doesn't have right now. So if he's if he's listening to us, he'll probably go back for it after this battle. Which, the battle he's in right now is actually quite bad. Grimlocks are pretty much the most annoying encounter you can get here.
The gimmick of the Grimlocks is that the red head on top is strong against physical and weak against magic. Blue head on top is weak against physical and strong against magic. So if Vivi were to cast Bio right now, then it would do a lot of damage to the red Grimlock.
He got the flea eventually, at least.
Yes. It looks like he is going back to get the anklet.
Yeah,
that's the kind of support that the FF9 community gives. If they notice that you make a mistake, they'll let you know so you can fix it as soon as possible.
He got another encounter.
That's the price you pay.
Oh, well, it's only one cat.
Single Trauma is probably the best encounter that you can get, because you can just cast Carbuncle with Echo, and then bio your entire party. Or you can just stop. That works too, though you don't get experience.
I think single Draken is the easiest to kill.
Yeah, but they can do bad things to you.
I suppose.
But yeah, single encounters are definitely preferred over double. They're just a lot easier to finish off.
So for encounters here, it's pretty bad.
Well, one of them could have been avoided, but yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously 0 is preferred, 1 or 2 is not unheard of. Sometimes you just get really bad ones. Though Neff has been very unlucky with the amount of encounters he's been getting. He has been fairly lucky in how quickly he's been able to escape the encounters.
Yeah, sometimes you get awful encounters here that can just last upwards of 2 minutes.
I think Webster had one around a long time ago that took 4 minutes. That's incredibly bad. It's the worst I've heard of.
Eight minutes and 56 seconds, he says. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, this encounter is taking a lot of time.
Yeah, it seems like there is definitely an opening for Team Choco to make up some time, because Disc Free has not been kind to Nep at all so far.
One upside of taking Amarant to Desert Palace, or taking Amarant to Oiver, is that he's in the party during these random encounters, and you can throw pinwheels or the diamond sword that you picked up in Oiver to deal a lot of damage to him.
Oh, that is not good. Oh.
Yes, that was a very bad thing to happen. Mistake on Nep's part. Basically, earlier he had cast Carbuncle, which gives the entire party Reflect, and then he started casting spells on his entire party to reflect them back at the enemy and do a lot of damage. However, it looks like Reflect ran out, so he just cast
almost killed his party.
Yes, he did make it out okay.
Okay.
This library screen, you cannot get encounters until you light all the candles, which is quite strange. Just a random quirk to Desert Palace. Right here he picked up the Enkai Armlet. I should point out what the Bloodstones do. Every glowing purple thing, they boost Valia Pura, the boss of this place's like attack or defense or something, but if you grab the item, then these boosts are removed. So some of the things we pick up are just to get rid of some of his boosts, like his immunity to elemental attacks. However, that one we just picked up with the item, which is an Enkai Armlet. which has very good stats and also teaches Vivi something very important that he'll be using on the fight itself. Also, he's getting double Dracons, which can be very trolly.
No, Vivi's frozen, so he can't do anything. This is just an awful Desert Palace.
Yes, Vivi is your main damage dealer against these encounters. With his bio, and now that Vivi is frozen, he cannot use skills. Nef using a Remedy, even though Remedy does not cure freeze.
Does it not? I can never remember what Remedy does and doesn't cure in this game. It's very arbitrary.
Yeah, if you get frozen, the best thing you can do is just let the ATB run. It
doesn't last that long.
Yeah. Heat and freeze run out fairly quickly, so just do nothing or do things with other characters, and eventually you'll get to move again.
I think only a Gizzard Green can, or not. I don't know.
I guess Green's cures Berserk.
Yeah.
Remedy does not cure Berserk, but Gizzard Green's does. So that is why runners may choose to buy an extra one at Tropical Forest. Specifically for the bees in Gizmo's Grotto a couple hours back.
We'll see if he dares to go for the Black Hood skip here.
Oh,
He was asking
Okay.
earlier in the chat.
Yeah, I know.
Are you proud?
I am proud. Now I just hope that he knows what to do, which he probably doesn't because he was asking me. So, for those who don't know, there's another Bloodstone here that you can pick up, which contains the Black Hood. It also lowers the magic defense of Valiapira. But at one point I realized that you don't really save any time. It generally takes 2 turns to kill Valiapira regardless of whether you pick up that Bloodstone or not. And the Black Hood isn't super important as a piece of equipment. And it takes, because you have to light a candle and then unlight it again, it takes about 18 seconds in total to pick up the Black Hood, so I cut it out of the route.
It's more important in the Japanese version because you will be doing half the damage he does on this version, on this upcoming fight, and the Black Hood lowers his magic defense, which helps a lot in that version. However, on this version, the magic defense does not change anything. You'll still kill him in the same amount of time, so it's just not worth it.
Yeah, the reason for this version difference is the mechanic we're sort of abusing for this part of the game is that if you cast Reflect on yourself, or on your entire party, which is what Carbuncle does, and then cast a spell on your entire party, it will count as 4 spells. So you basically get a spell off of Vivi that's 4 times as strong as normal. So you kill this boss in 2 waters. On the Japanese version, multi-reflected spells do less damage than that. It still does more damage than normal. I'm not entirely sure what the
It only
multiplier
does 2 times.
2
It only
times?
does 2 times instead of 4 times.
Okay. That is also the reason why Tantarian route is a little bit more viable for the Japanese route, because it actually changes up the strat for this boss completely by taking Steiner to Desert Palace and just killing the boss with physical attacks, which saves a lot more time for the Japanese version because it's normally a much slower fight due to the different reflect mechanics.
People may be wondering why Dagger is currently floating. That is because in this previous menu before this boss fight, Nef gave her auto float. That does not matter at all for this fight. However, we won't be touching her equipments again until you're not alone. And auto float is very useful against the fight that Dagger appears in. Webster's still in the Alexandria cutscenes. I hope he's enjoying his break. Soon he'll be in Lindblom, where nothing of note will happen there either. So Neptier is going back to the Hildegard dock. He will be fighting some encounters. Actually, did he get all the amount he needed already in Oyver? I don't remember.
Who, Neff?
I think
Yeah.
he did.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
He got tons of encounters. He got
Yeah,
way more
okay.
than he needed.
So he did, but if he didn't, then he would be fighting encounters such as a single ogre, because Zidane needs, aside from the AP that you get from Arc, Zidane needs 2 battles worth of AP to learn Accuracy Plus, since he currently has the Lapis on. So he just fought this for experience, I suppose, but normally you would be learning things here as well.
Nep's encounters in this crew were pretty brutal. Until now.
Oh wow, I don't know if anybody noticed, but on Webster's run, he just got the Egoist Armlet.
Oh man,
Now
that's
he
best
too.
pickup.
Now he too can experience the wonders of level up.
So exciting.
And he's about to talk to the guard to skip that cutscene. Oh, he
Going
we
for the
go.
controversial skipping the guard and then running back strats.
a bold new route. Perhaps
Actually,
it is
I think I
RNG
do that in my
manipulation.
PB. I think I did that the exact same way in my PB.
In my PV, I almost got lost in Lindblom at a later point after watching the cutscene up here. I wasn't sure where to go, but I checked my notes before I got lost. Notes are important, especially story triggers.
Story trigger notes.
Psh, battle notes. Who needs those?
I mean, I don't use notes, period, so... Aside from the, well, the notes that I use when I actually run this game, is a small set of about, I think, 10 things that I easily forget, and I say... It just tells me to not forget to do those things, and one of those is funnily enough, talking to that guard over there. There's a couple of others, like getting the power belt on disc 2, going to the synthesis shop at the end of Black Mage Village. That's another that's pretty easy to forget sometimes.
I will never forget that because I watched a very good run by Karakarn where he did it and he lost all his time, and I was very sad. A lot of things in this game I remember just because other people have messed them up in the past.
Yeah, that's what I said. I learned a lot of what I know about this game just by watching other people mess it up. And I know you're the same way, really.
I watched a lot of runs before I
Yeah.
did my own, as I'm sure you know.
Probably more than me. So, Neph is on the last trip through this screen.
Oh yeah, this is the only trip in which he has Amarant, and Amarant needs one more battle's worth of AP in order to learn his accuracy plus. So he's looking for a single ogre here.
And he got a single ogre.
So now Amarant will be good on his AP from now on. Unless he dies to Enthusiast.
Freya with the hunter. Though he'd already input an attack with her.
This confused me a lot at first because the note said that he only needed one more battle, but he still didn't have accuracy plus learned.
Oh yeah,
So
he learns it on Enthusiast.
I was really confused about that.
Yeah,
If
understandable.
you fight the second one, then he'll learn it now. So, if the unthinkable happens and Amarant dies to Enthusiast, it still won't be a problem. All these single ogres. Certainly better than Grimlocks. Did you talk about the trouble status effect on the Anline earlier?
Don't think we did now.
Alright, so it looks like Neph managed to escape all these ogre fights without running into it, but they have a skill called Trouble Knife. And what this does is it's just a regular attack, but also inflicts the status Trouble. And Trouble is a very unique status in that basically whenever a character with Trouble is single targeted, then everyone else in the party takes half the damage that the troubled character took. So if Freya got Trouble Knife, and then she took 648 damage from a regular attack, then everyone else in the party would take 324 damage. It's very bad if that happens, and like it can decimate your party in an instant without you expecting it. However, you do buy some anointments, which are an item that you get in Oiver, among other places, to cure trouble if it ever shows up.
So yeah, this pretty much ends this part of the game where you fight random encounters. I don't think you really fight any random encounters after this. No.
In certain
some-
situations, you may choose to fight an encounter in Memoria in Disport at the end of the game,
Yeah.
but we'll touch on that when we get to it. Aside from that, we do not fight any more random encounters. Aside from, potentially, if it was needed, we would fight Garudas here in Estogaza, if we got them.
Yeah, but Neph definitely doesn't need it. He's got so many encounters already. He's beyond good. for
Yeah,
AP.
he's really gotten his experience in AP right now.
But the game keeps giving him encounters anyway.
It's so generous like that.
And double Garudas. These two
Garudas are
guys can be
also-
really.
Yeah, they're pretty annoying because they can cast this little number. Stop. Which would be bad if it was on Zidane, obviously.
Stop is one of the few things that a remedy in this game actually cures. And it's basically the only thing that you can do about it, aside from killing the character and reviving them. Webster says he went the wrong way. Did he go to the train station first? That was actually the mistake I almost made in my own run. But if Webster had put story triggers in his notes, perhaps that wouldn't have happened.
Here's a nice little shop because it's actually really easy. You go down to the Flame Saber, you press R1, and it puts you straight at the Octagon Rod. You buy that, and you press R1 2 more times, and it puts you at the Shield Armor. So it's like super easy in terms of inputs.
If I see a new runner scroll down, I cry internally.
I cry harder internally when they buy the Heavy Lance.
I have so far been able to avoid the Heavy Lance.
It's I see it as my personal life's work to make sure Heavy Lance is eradicated from FF9 speedrunning.
The end of Death Puck. Webster doing... Uh-oh. That's not good. It appears that he does not have a Mithril Dagger to synthesize the Angel Blast. I suppose he'll just have to go the rest of Disc 3 with the Rune Tooth, which is...
Ooh, that is bad.
That means that Zane will be under-damaging.
Where could he have missed the Mithril Dagger?
I think he bought only 2 on the Black Mage Village, probably.
Ah, and you can't even buy them there. That's...
I'm sorry, Webster. I wasn't watching. Usually I would catch a mistake like that. But yeah, that means that he will go through Disc 3 with just the Rune Tooth, going up against such fights as, well, Ogres, and then Arc, not the Gemini, and probably the worst one is Earth Guardian. The Angel Blast against the 10 defense enemy, it has a multiplier of 34, and Rune Tooth only has 27, so it's got like 1.25 times as powerful.
That'll be pretty annoying once he gets to this fight that Neph is about to do. So coming up for Neph is the Red Dragons fight, which he's setting up for as we speak. One of the longest menus in the game, this. So Red Dragons is one of the more dangerous fights in the game. There's 2 of them, and they have an attack called Twister, which has a huge variance in damage. It is wind elemental, so you can protect against it a little bit. You have protection halving it on Zidane and Steiner, and Vivi should be absorbing it with the Octagon Rod. But it's still a pretty devastating attack, potentially. So the strat for it is Vivi right now has Blizzaga, which the Red Dragons are weak to, so that's going to be doing an enormous amount of damage, and that plus a Steiner attack should kill them. And Zidane, with the Angel Bless, can use his ability Soul Blade to confuse them, which just puts them out of commission while you kill the other one, really.
Oh yeah, Webster won't be able to use
yeah,
confuse
exactly.
them.
Without the Angel Bless, he can't do that.
But he
So,
can try to freeze with Steiner.
Yeah, Steiner has a 10% chance of inflicting the status freeze on an enemy. Well, on one of these.
Immediately start off
status
with
with
Twister.
Starting off with Twister is very bad. However,
Oh,
those were
very,
incredibly
very
low
low
rolls.
rolls. Wow.
literally the lowest possible, 35 damage on Steiner, and only the second lowest 70 on Freya. So
I think that's actually the lowest on Freya because she doesn't have protection.
oh yeah, no,
I don't.
35 is a multiplier, so I guess Steiner has
Oh.
the second lowest as well.
Hmm.
But yeah, I can't remember if you mentioned this, but Zidane has a gold choker,
Yeah, it is.
which halves wind damage. What does Steiner have again? Well, bronze armor, correct?
Yeah, bronze armor.
Yeah. Also, a little known fact is that Vivi's Octagon Rod, strangely enough, a weapon actually has some defensive properties. It makes him absorb wind damage, which is incredibly useful because Vivi is incredibly underleveled compared to the others. So if he died really easily, it would be very
And
bad.
we intentionally keep it more underleveled there. You get a lot of experience from the Red Dragons, and you want that on your characters that actually matter, so we kill Vivi. But that was a good Red Dragons fight, despite the Twister opener.
So he doesn't need to cure himself here, because he will get healed later automatically.
Yes,
get
Nev,
Taito.
those are indeed the right equips.
Except you don't have add status on Steiner, but his abilities are, or his equips are normal.
Hmm.
You
Not
don't
sure.
have, you don't have ability up here, correct?
No, you don't.
Yeah, because you get that from the diamond gloves, and then you take the diamond gloves off. You may notice that Nep put on antibody on Zidane, Steiner, and Freya. This will protect against the venom status ailment. It's basically a worse poison. Poison just lowers your health here and there. However, what venom does is not only does it lower your HP, but it also lowers your MP, and worst of all, it makes the venom character impossible to act. So it's basically like being dead, except they're still alive and can take damage and stuff. So to have antibody on is very important.
And now,
El Mao, thank you for everything.
Now Mogul makes himself very useful to the speedrunner by turning into a ribbon, which you can equip for a lot of good things. So, Swansec, would you say that the ribbon is the worst item that you can sell in the Pandemonium menu?
I
I've
probably
been
would.
thinking about that, and I would say that that is my choice.
I would say either that or the Reflect Ring. because the Reflect Ring just makes Necron horribly dangerous.
Reflect Ring makes Necron dangerous,
but I'd say the Ribbon is worse.
Especially now that we know that you can suicide immediately to...
Yeah, that's also true. You don't even see...
It makes it less dangerous.
But yes, the Ribbon is incredibly important. It doesn't actually teach anything that we care about, but it gives awesome elemental protections. It completely absorbs water and wind, which a lot of endgame bosses employ. And I think it halves all the other elements as well.
It does have fire, thunder, and ice.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, the Ribbon does teach ability up, which is the only source of ability up for Steiner on Silver Dragon.
Oh, okay. So it does have some use then for its abilities.
But yeah, the water and wind absorb is incredibly useful in many places.
So, yeah, for Melted Gemini, Nep will be using a move that he used earlier, but we had the mumble mess up then, so we couldn't explain it properly. But he's going to be using Freya's Luna ability, which puts everyone in the fight into Berserk. Melted Gemini himself is immune to it, but you just use it to put all of your own characters into Berserk. And since this fight is very quick and you really don't need to do much else than just physical attacks, you use that and it saves you a turn. And you'll see that Steiner especially is doing amazing damage in this fight because just all of the stacking multipliers, plus also a multiplier from Melty being weak to fire, and Steiner's using the Flame Saber.
Melty Gemini can use an attack called Viral Smoke. Basically, it's a hard-hitting attack on the entire party, but what's more important for us is that it inflicts a status called Virus. And what Virus does...
I think that was pretty much a perfect Melted Gemini.
Yes, it was.
That
didn't even take damage at all. But yeah, anyways, Virus inflicts what Virus does is that it just makes it so that characters with Virus do not gain any AP, and that's very annoying because basically, if you lose out on AP here, then you can fix it at Taharka, which is the next boss. But it makes it for a slower strat because Freya requires the AP from either Melty or Taharka. So now that he did not get Viral Smoke, then he doesn't have to take Freya to Ibsen's castle. Instead, he will take Eiko, and her Carbuncle skill will make it so that Taharka will die quicker. It's totally random.
It's a fairly minor thing. It doesn't save a huge amount of time, but it's actually kind of rare to not see Viral Smoke. But when you do, it's a nice little thing.
So now, this is one of the worst cutscene segments in the game. Basically, this is 3 minutes of cutscenes, and then Zidane will have to move slightly. Then after that, there will be 9 minutes of cutscenes. I think with Turbo, after you move Zidane into the room, it's about 9.5 minutes break.
Yep. It's the longest break for turbo users in the run.
So it looks like it's but good timing for Webster to have finally exited Lindblom.
Yep,
and is now in the. He's now going to start Oiver and stuff after some more cutscene.
Yeah, from this moment on, it's 9 minutes of cutscenes.
As Neff is using a turbo controller, this means you can just put the controller down and go do other things for 9 minutes.
Intense speed gaming action.
I was gonna call it hardcore, but intense is good too. So yeah, they're using turbo controllers, but if they were not using turbo controllers, then they just have to mash endlessly for 8 minutes until the FMV, which is not fun, but what can you do?
So Webster getting single ogre here. That's good. That's the encounter you want. Now we'll see if he actually is strong enough to kill these. Yeah, that's what I thought. He's not strong enough to kill an ogre with Steiner plus Sedaine, which he normally would because he doesn't have the Angel Bless. So he has to add Freya in.
The chat. There's a certain message in chat. I always thought turbo controllers were disqualification if used in a run. Generally, in the English communities, we do not accept use of turbo controllers. However, there is a big FF9 community that has accepted the use of it. However, it is a separate category. I'll post the leaderboards in a second. You can see on the leaderboards how the times for turbo and non-turbo are segregated. So if you want to use turbo, you can still run. You just cannot compete with non-turbo officially. Hi, Palky.
All the bad RNG was Palky's fault, by the way. So I would say to chat to blame Palky for everything.
Yes, we should keep that in mind if somebody dies to people like Abaddon or Death Guys. Please remember that it is Palky's fault. And if somebody loses a lot of time, then you should all blame him. Remember that when he is commentating Final Fantasy X in a couple of hours. Question in chat: do the consoles have an impact on the speed? The answer is yes. The fastest way to run this game is on the model SCPH 90001 PS2 Slim. Other models, other Slim models, such as 75K, which I personally use, they're basically just as good. 70K and earlier do run things a bit slower than 75K and up. Obviously running on a PS2 Fat is slower as well, as is running on a PS1.
And personal advice for me, never, ever run on PSN, PS3 version.
Oh yeah, I forgot about those.
It's, from when I used to do that, I estimate that it loses like 40 minutes. It's not pretty.
Somebody in chat asks, what are the strategic advantages of blaming Palky over Everhate? Would someone like to answer that?
Go for it.
I don't know, I think they're both viable.
I think Palky's skills work more on the PlayStation Final Fantasies.
I think Everhate definitely affected the FF2.
Yeah, I'd say that Everhate's skills on ruining runs work more for the NES and SNES Final Fantasies. So there's your answer. Webster just entering Oive right now. He's about to do the shop where he gets a lot of important equips such as diamond gloves and green berets. I don't think I said this earlier when Nev was here, but the green beret teaches clear-headed, which, as I stated beforehand, is very important for the arc fight. We can go in depth as to why on the actual arc fight, because our mics were muted when Neff went to it.
So here Webster is electing to fight these double ogres, which might be a bit dangerous. Fine. It's fine. I think that almost puts him at his the AP he needs. He's fought 3 fights out of the 4 he needs.
Nep is watching the cutscene where Dagger cuts her hair, which means that he is very close to finally ending this long stretch of boring cutscenes. Soon he'll be going to Ibsen's castle in the next place so he can go on the speedrun.
Cutting her hair with the dagger that Nep already sold in Lindblom and Disc 1.
Well, I think... Oh wait, no, never mind.
It's like she specifically remarks on how it's the same dagger that made her make up her mind back in Disc 1 when she was... I don't know how exactly she words it, but the point is, it's not the same dagger, because she sold that in Disc 1.
Maybe when Webster gets to that point in his run, Dagger would use the Gladius.
So he's approaching Nep. He's approaching Gibson Castle. It's basically an inverted castle where every weapon that is powerful, it's actually weak, and the weak weapons are powerful. So
it's kind of a funny mechanic, but we will completely ignore it in the speedrun because using physical attacks against the boss is a bad idea anyway.
We will not be physically attacking Taharka for the purposes of damage. Actually, I shouldn't say that, but you don't need a lot.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
When we get to the fight, I will elaborate on what I mean.
You want it to be a surprise.
Yes, the math works out very nicely. Buster doing his Oiver menu right now.
This is the best shop in the game that Nep did just now. Only he had to buy some extra potions afterwards because he's apparently low.
Better than the one in Estocasa?
Yeah, I like this one more. I like the one in Estocasa as well, but this one's just really cool. It's another one where you can just do it really quickly by strategically using R1 to scroll down pages, and then back up.
You may notice in that menu that Nep just did, he gave Vivi the red hat. That boosts the power of fire, which is very important because he'll be using Firaga on the next boss. Actually, now that I think about it, with Echo Strats, is that even required? Can you skip it?
You probably could actually. Yeah, you could probably just not buy the red hat entirely.
New strats created on the fly, live,
on the fly,
live on RPG Limit Break.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, because you do way more than 9999 damage probably with the reflect.
Yeah, I think you probably do like 20k in terms of the actual calculation.
Yeah, because it's normally five something.
Like 5394 or something. I've never seen it go below 5k with a normally leveled VV.
Yeah. So if you do 4 times more, then the red hat is really overkill, actually.
Runners, pay attention. If you take Echo here, skip the red hat. Funnily enough, you can actually get an encounter on this screen.
Oh yeah! Wow, that's incredibly
called
rare. What you said that before it actually came up? That's wow. The jinx.
I had a feeling. I checked
Wow.
the perfect game task, and it's like a 1% chance. I'm sorry, Neff. You may have said some things to me in the past, and I made you get that encounter. But yeah, jokes aside, coming up right now is the Taharka fight. There'd be some interesting stress used, not really... Well, I guess with Echo. We use it on Valiapura differently. There are a few interesting things to note about the Taharka fight. The first is that he has a 1 in 16 chance for Zidane to steal the Aura Hawken, which is a very useful weapon. You'll actually be buying it later if you do not steal it here. So,
but stealing it here saves a lot of money and makes the next boss a lot faster.
yes. Aside from that, he'll be attacking with Steiner. Steiner only does like 100,
Yeah, somewhere in that region.
100-ish damage, which is
Wow.
almost not helpful. However, oh wow, first turn attack Echo is terrible. Well, I guess for that cool math I was talking about before.
Shit.
Anyway, Steiner will be attacking for not the damage, but he has the Flame Saber and also add status. So he has a 10% chance of inflicting the
heat.
status heat. And what heat does is basically on the next turn, like whenever a character with heat cues an action, they die. They can live if they don't cue an action, but if they cue an action, they die, and Taharka will always cue an action.
Meanwhile,
Because he's an enemy.
Meanwhile, Webb's doing Arc. So Arc has an attack called Propeller Wind, which confuses all your characters. So he's set up with clear-headed to avoid that from happening. Otherwise, it's mostly just using physical attacks and maybe using Luna to to boost your damage output.
Yeah, Webster's using Luna right now,
Yep.
so he did a decent amount of damage up to him already, and then he's gonna use Luna. And then, as you saw earlier with Neff at Multi Gemini, what it does just berserks your entire party, and so basically he will only get one more attack off before he dies because the math kind of works out that way. It's just a way of ending the fight consistently faster. It's very bad if characters die here. For example, Photon is an attack that gets Freya down to 1 HP, or any character really, and if he uses an all-party damaging attack, then Freya will die. That's bad. However, you make sure that you do enough damage before you Luna, so that you will always kill him before he gets a second turn following the Luna.
So Fred trancing there wasted a bit of time. I didn't think it was particularly useful, but it's kind of nice to have Freya's trance out of the way, because there's a boss at the end of the game where Freya trancing wastes a lot of time.
So right now, Nep will do a menu after exiting the Ibsen Castle. He will unequip everything from Vivi and equip some stuff for Steiner and Zidane for the later fights.
Yeah, we won't be using Vivi anymore for the rest of the game. So we just get rid of all the stuff now to use later. In particular, we took the ribbon off of him and then immediately put it on Zidane because, as said earlier, it halves fire, thunder, and ice. And the next boss casts a lot of Fraga, Blizzaga, and Tendaga. So just that resistance is very useful.
Yeah, so Eiko.
Yeah, we won't be using Eiko anymore either. If he did not have Eiko here, then he would just do that in Terra, and it's the same either way, really. But she's here now, so I might as well do it now. Again, Webster doing the Hedgehog Pie minigame, where he's failing 5 times, so that the Hedgehog Pie does not do any quick turnarounds anymore, just making it easy for him to get to the key afterwards.
The section that Nep just went through where Zidane's by himself can actually potentially be a little bit dangerous, just because Zidane's by himself. And I think some encounters can wipe you. Let's see if Webster has a better Desert Palace than Nep did. I certainly hope so for his sake.
It'd be pretty hard to get worse than what Nep did, but stranger things have happened. Again, you cannot flee in Desert Palace using Zidane's flee ability because Zidane is not in the party there. So he will have to either flee with the incredibly random L1 and R1, or just kill the enemies by him, like with the party that he has. Either are particularly good options. I also see that on Nep's screen, Zidane is incredibly close to Trance. So we won't be seeing an Earth Guardian Trance here. In fact, we will be. If he tranced on that fight right there, it would have been incredibly terrible. But thankfully he did not. One thing to point out is that when Zidane is in trance, he gets his dying skills such as Solution 9 and Free Energy, but when he gets those skills, he loses the ability to use his regular thief skills, one of them being Flee. So if Zidane trances in a random encounter and he has not queued the Flee ability yet, then he cannot use it until his trance runs out. So that is incredibly bad. I know a good runner and a friend of mine, Hollow648, he got a PB a couple days ago in which he lost 2 minutes in Disc 4 because that happened and he had to kill a random encounter.
And there's this a little bit for Nep where you just have to fly around, dropping everybody off at the shrines. It's kind of annoying if you don't know where to go, but you just learn it, and it's easy. Right, Sereth?
Nep will also... Go on.
No, nothing. I'm just
okay.
Firing some shots, you know?
Nep will also be going to another place, taking the scenic route, and the next detour.
Ah, right, yes.
To a tropical island called Digirio, otherwise known as the Town of Shame. As he lost the car tournament earlier, he does not have the Rebirth Ring, and so he is forced to synthesize it there instead because it is incredibly important. Doesn't look like Webster's having a good Desert Palace either. He's got a second encounter, I think.
This is the second? I didn't see it first. I might have missed it, but
Yeah, he got one on the first screen. It was Grimlock's.
So he's still better than Neps
So far.
so far, yeah.
But I'm sure Desert Palace will try its best.
There we go. The Town of Shame is right here. It's crying because Nev just failed the card tournament.
Yes, Webster will not be visiting the Gario because he won the card tournament. So what Neff is doing right here is just a flat loss of time, and he'll be also losing around 9,000 gil. 7,000 to synth the Rebirth Ring, and because synthesizing the Rebirth Ring makes him lose his diamond, he'll have to buy it back later at a cost of 2222 gil. Webster on his third encounter. Desert Palace is not letting anyone off today.
Really in a mood today.
Command failed. Nep can't concentrate. He's too busy visiting the Gario. Can you blame him? Good, Webster finally fled from that encounter. That was really bad. So Nef is doing just a short ability menu right here. He's level 27. He can afford to go without ability up here because he has enough stones to equip it on You're Not Alone. So he decided to go with counter instead of ability up and some other stuff.
Did he do the...
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no. Did he do the menu? The Queen menu? The equips?
I think... I know I do that right after Arc.
Okay.
I'm sure he did too.
Yeah, probably.
I actually didn't catch it because I was distracted from the Mumbo being down. Webster getting the Black Hood. Zhuangzig not proud. Yeah, this fight is interesting. Quina is actually very useful here. Basically, Quina's special skill, where which lets him use Learn Blue Magic, is called Eat. Basically, if he uses Eat on an enemy that has under 25% health and can be eaten, then the enemy will die and he'll learn a skill if there's a skill to be learned. And funnily enough, this enemy right here, this boss, Earth Guardian, he can be eaten. So what you do is you just attack the Zidane and defend and heal with Quina, and then when he gets under 25% health, 5,189 HP, then you just eat with Quina. Something I like to do is count damage for a lot of bosses, so I will be ready with my calculator here.
With that good bit damage.
2890 is the second highest damage roll at 1-7, level 27. It's very good. You only need an average of 2,594.
In the trance.
However, that doesn't really matter because he's in trance. Trance is incredibly useful in this fight because he can do a whole lot of damage. Because it's just Zidane solo doing all the damage, then being able to do extra damage with Zidane is very useful compared to other fights.
9,000 damage.
I think just a regular attack would do it, unless he gets a super low roll.
Zidane
Oh wow,
have a
he
function?
doesn't have Gaia gear on. That's interesting. You're not supposed to take damage from Earthshake. That actually could have been quite bad if that hadn't been such a fast fight.
I think I was talking at the time, so I wasn't watching the menu. But yeah, if one of us noticed, we definitely would have told them because Gaia gear is incredibly important. Actually, I think that would make sense because that's where you learn High Tide from. So I was wondering why he put counter on instead of High Tide. I guess he just didn't have it.
Meanwhile, Webster. I just fused the two. Webster has made it to the end of Desert Palace. He's killed Valiapira.
Finally, Desert Palace is gone. We will not miss it.
Right now, Nefs is going towards Terra.
Has Karab16 commented at all? He was commenting when I got on around Alexandria Escape, 3 hours and 30 minutes in. Then he said he was going to nap for an hour. I think he napped for a little bit more than that.
That's been,
a common theme?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure he's sleeping well. We miss him. Karab16 is a very good runner of this game also. Though, he's a teacher, so he can't really do it when not in summons.
This is, in my opinion, one of the greatest pieces of soundtrack in this game.
I actually did not see that really short menu Nef did. Did you put on the Gaia gear?
I
think so.
I wasn't watching.
Well,
What's Webster?
you better have, because Gaia gear, he managed to survive Earth Guardian without it, but if he does not have it,
Yeah, put it now.
yes, excellent. If he did not have it on you're not alone. I would foresee a wipe the Shell Dragon.
Oh, you could always just put it on in the next menu. There's
Yeah.
one there anyway.
Well, yeah, but it wouldn't be in his muscle memory. I know that if I forget something and then I say, oh, I'll do it later, I might forget to do it later because I don't usually do it later. This enemy here is called Hecked Eyes, which has a very annoying skill called Roulette. And
there we
just
go.
as I say that, Roulette kills a random person in the battle. He can even kill himself, but usually he kills one of your guys. He kills Zidane, and that's very annoying because you can't flee. He killed Vivi this time, so that's good.
So here in this chest, there's the Demon Vest. That's very important for Quina, because it increases a lot the defense for Abaddon later, and it's safer to do that.
Yeah, Abaddon is one of the enemies that you fight in the You're Not Alone sequence. It can be dangerous. It is definitely one of the battles in the game where you can die and have there be nothing that you could do about it. So just to have that little bit of safety is always helpful.
Yeah, we actually made a safer strat for it when we did ESA, but I don't think Neph is using that for this race.
You didn't get the black bet.
So he will obviously be saving before going into those battles, but there's quite a ways between the save point and the fight, so if he gets bad luck on that fight, he could be looking at a big time loss.
Also, the Demon's Vest is not just for Quina. After You're Not Alone, you take it off of Quina, and it is actually the best armor in the game in a speedrun for Zidane. So he'll be wearing that for the rest of the game after Quina takes it off. Webster killing some more single ogres to get the AP that he needs for accuracy plus on Zane and Emerald. Neff says in chat, my encounter total is 51 right now, in case anyone is curious. That is very bad. I would say an average encounter number for the entire game is 60, and you definitely get more than that, or you definitely get more than 9 average, I guess, maybe 10 in Disc 4. So from Type 51 right now is pretty bad.
Yeah, it's also got the last part of Disc 3 coming up, Pandemonium. More encounters there.
The world record has 48 encounters for the entire game. The lowest number anyone has ever achieved is 40 by Smelly Panda, a very good runner who doesn't run enough. He actually had, I think, 24 at beating Earth Guardian, which is unbelievable. Like, none of us watching at the time could even understand why he's getting so little.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It's just the same that he got a higher amount than usual in Disc 4 and still ended up 5 less than the previous best of 45.
But he actually died to Kuja.
Yeah, he did die to Trans Kuja on that run, but since he made it to the part of the game where you don't get any more random encounters, we count it. Nep wanting to get a really good look at that crystal over there. It's pretty interesting. He just picked up an elixir there. He also did the... no, he didn't yet, but he will be with Eiko coming up here. Elixirs are very useful. We're basically just stockpiling them for 2 fights. One of them is coming up in You're Not Alone, and the other one is at the end of the game. Here, Nep is just picking up another Angel Earrings, which you may recognize as the reward that he got for pairing up the soldiers correctly earlier. Again, we never equip it, we just sell it for 10,000 gil, which is very useful.
You might have to do that here, since he lost cards, so he's probably a little bit low on gil, and you have to buy a very expensive weapon here, which is the Orichalcon.
Yes, he tried to steal it from Taharka, but since he failed, he must steal it here.
Or buy.
Yeah, buy. It costs 17,000 gil, which is quite pricey. Looks like he's also going for the Adamant Hat. I think.
Yeah. I forgot he does that. He's getting a little head start on the Pandemonium menu here.
Cheater.
Well, he saw the iron sword and the javelin, I think.
Don't tell the Orichalcon.
Oh boy.
Well, aren't they used to be equipped on Steiner and Freya later?
Yeah, but he can just use the next weapon up.
Okay.
He'd be a little less rich at the end. Now putting on that Stone Killer, the most useful ability if you're not alone.
Yeah, he hasn't learned level up, so he needs to put on the Egoist Armlet.
He's just
partly a big deal.
Yeah. He's just setting up his abilities for the You're Not Alone sequence. Basically, Zidane is going to go through 3 fights, and he put on different things for different fights to make sure that he doesn't die. The most important one is probably, well, equally important are the Gaia Gear and the Rebirth Ring for Shell Dragon. Well, I guess Rebirth Ring is useful for all the fights, but especially on Shell Dragon, it'll actually save time in the end. And the Gaia Gear is just because he likes to spam Earthshake a lot and does a lot of damage. And so you want that to heal you instead.
Meanwhile, Webster is getting double Garuda like Nep got it in that screen.
Yeah, so
Actually-
Webster
Go
is
on.
now coming up on the Red Dragons fight, which for him will be potentially an issue because, as we said before, he missed getting the Angel Bless, and so he will not be able to confuse the Red Dragons.
The way Soul Blade works is that it inflicts with a 100% chance the status of the Thief Sword that Zidane currently has equipped. Like on Taharka, he'll have the Rune Tooth normally, and that would inflict poison. But on the Red Dragons, normally it's Angel Bless, which inflicts Confuse. And yeah, that's very important if you like to not die.
And an encounter there as well.
An encounter because he went to save.
Yeah. Still a good idea to go save though. It's Red Dragons is already one of the kind of more dangerous fights in the game, and especially in his situation right now.
Hopefully Webster steals the Orehawken later so that he won't have to fight Earth Guardian with the Rune Tooth.
Oh yeah, that would not be pleasant.
7 or 8 hits, maybe even 9.
There we go. You're not alone in starting now.
Except you're not alone. It is one of the most touching sequences in the game, and it's also one of the more dangerous ones in the speedrun. Webster putting on Bird Killer instead of Devil Killer. I hope he puts on Devil Killer before Melted Gemini.
So the first fight in this sequence is Amdusius. Fairly simple. At the start you just wait until Freya shows up. You don't have to do anything. Once that happens you can speed it up a bit by depleting his HP, which won't actually kill him, but then just force Emma to show up, and then you attack him again until he dies.
When Zidane is alone, especially this applies for all 3 fights in the sequence. When the fight begins, every enemy is invincible. You cannot damage them. But then, when certain conditions are met, usually just waiting to turn, then most characters you can actually damage them.
This is where Soul Blade to confuse the Red Dragon would be really useful.
That's not good for Webster. You might have to kill with BB alive, which is not the end of the world, but
Yeah, I
would certainly be better.
Yeah, at this point,
It might be the best idea. Nepgear is coming up on what we like to call Mr. Highwind Blade. It's actually Abaddon, and basically Steiner and Quina are alone for 2 turns. And what you want to do is just defend as soon as possible, so you take little damage. However, if he gets the first turn and uses Highwind, then Quina will be dead and Steiner will be at low health. Then if he follows that up with the move Blade, like if Steiner elixirs himself and then he follows it up with Blade, then you can just game over and there'd be nothing that you could do. Also, I see everybody except Vivi is dead on the Red Dragons fight, so Webster has decided to reset rather than continue with solo Vivi getting all the experience. Looks like Abaddon led with Fandaga, I believe.
Yeah.
Which is not the fastest, but it's definitely what you want to see, because Quina reflects it and Steiner absorbs it, so it is of no danger to you in that part of the fight. See, here's Highwind. Watch the damage it does to Steiner and Quina. It's good that Highwind killed Quina because you want Quina dead, so that she does not gain any experience and stealing the experience from the other two. Similarly to on the Red Dragons fight, how you want to kill Vivi at the end. Looks like Webster got past the Red Dragons safely, thankfully.
He didn't lose that much time, I think.
Wait. Okay, he does kill. Anyway, Nep is fighting Shell Dragon.
And yes, he did just kill himself there.
This fight is unique in that Dagger only comes out when Zidane is in yellow health. Usually what happens is that you just wait and tank his attacks until he uses the ability Smash, which automatically sets Zidane's HP to 1, and that's when Dagger is supposed to come out. However, we speed that up a bit by giving him auto life and then killing himself, so that automatically puts him to 1 HP immediately. We would have preferred if Dagger had gotten a turn to use Protect on Zidane, which would make his charge skill weaker, so the fight would be safer. But it's still not the end of the world.
Four attacks kills him.
Not always. I've never seen any run ever take 5, but the math does work out.
Yeah, supposedly it is possible.
I saw a 2652, that was the lowest roll possible. If he gets too many of those, then yeah, he would have to do 5 hits.
Okay.
Actually, one time I saw Karakarn, it took 4 hits, but one of them was a crit, so it's basically the same thing.
So right now we see the beginning of the biggest menu in this game, on this speedrun at least. It's called the Pandemonium menu. He'll be unequipping everything from everyone and selling what he doesn't need and buy some stuff.
Yes, basically this is the last shop in the game. What you do is you take everything off of everyone and then you sort your inventory and you sell everything you don't need for the rest of the run. This gets you a lot of money and also cleans up your inventory, and then you use the money to buy a lot of expensive gear that you're going to use for Disc 4. Now this style menu is very big, and I myself use something called the list of shame. It's basically, as he's going to be selling his stuff, he's going to be weaving his way through things here and there in the inventory that he actually doesn't need for Disc 4 and does not want to sell. So I kind of keep a list of things that people have accidentally sold as my list of shame.
So Neff is deciding to save here just in case he sells something important.
That's for the best in the setting, because if you sell something like the ribbon, then the run might even be over. Most things are not too bad, but you never know. Did you mean to sell the mantra band?
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't sell that, but I think Neff that usually.
It should be fine to sell if he already has HP plus 20% learned.
With how many encounters he got, he might have, honestly.
It's not hard to have it learned by now already. Gotta keep that ore.
Oh, he's very low on money.
Oh, yeah.
Incredibly low on money. It might be worth it to go get the Holy Mitre in the next room.
Yeah, selling the lapises for that 1 gil apiece.
He's just gonna get the Holy Mitre and then immediately sell it for a bit of extra cash to buy high potions in Phoenix Downs.
This is really a last resort option because in a lot of cases you get an encounter when trying to get that. He got lucky and didn't get an encounter. But he definitely needed that because he was just too low on healing items. He's still kind of low now.
He could have also sold an extra Lamia's Tiara. He only needs one. He probably doesn't even need the one either. I know Kirakarn just likes to sell them all.
Yeah, you could also sell one of the Gaia gears, I think. There's kind of different strats that people use. This is the second part of the menu, is re-equipping everything you need. All in all, it's quite a complex menu.
Yeah, basically at this point of the game is when you finally have your final party set. You will not be fighting with anyone else anymore, and it's where basically the strats for the rest of the game kind of fall into place. Like now we're using the ability charge. So basically, as this is not only is the pandemonium menu where you sell all your stuff and get a lot of late game equipment, but it's just where you kind of get rid of all the other strategies that you were using before, and you settle into your normal strategy.
One of the most notable things about the menu is Chuckulator's. Chuckulator has kept a list of everything that someone in the past has accidentally sold that they needed to keep, and so anytime anyone mess ups, we have everything documented and can always bring it up again in the future.
Welcome back, hey Rob. We missed you.
You wanna post the list of shame in the chat?
I'm screenshotting it right now.
Alright, let's see who's on it the most.
Sareth.
Hey, I know my
from the whole
diamond.
run.
I definitely have diamond like ×3 or something.
I definitely say that Sareth is the hero
champion.
Of the shame.
And you saw right there that Webster got hit by viral smoke on Alta Gemini, so he is gonna have to take Freya to Ibsen's castle. So he can't use Aiko's carbuncle or Taharka.
Alright, so I'm gonna be posting my list of shame in chat if you want to see what we were talking about. This is a list of all the things that we don't want to sell, and a list of people who have sold these things.
It's a long list.
I even sorted it now,
Ah.
and added Nitro Helm and Rebirth, even though nobody has yet.
You sold both Mithril Helms. That would probably actually be one of the worst, because you'd lose out on so much damage over the entirety of the rest of the game.
Yeah, both for Steiner and Freya. You just have to do alternate strats for Necron as well, like doing 2 jump skips.
Selling something that's on the list doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna GG in Disc 4. There's been a number of people that have sold something that have been able to just like avoid the disaster that was meant to be helped by whatever it was. There's some things that are more important than others.
Oh yeah, a lot of them don't matter that much. Like, for example, the Jade Armlet. Like, okay, you can do without that.
Basically, you can get through the game without any of the armlets on the list. It'd be worse off, but you can survive. Other things such as the ribbon, as I said earlier, and the diamond gloves, they make things a whole lot worse.
But look at the top where it says that Nep sold the Wing Edge. Like, I think that's probably like one of the least important things that we've decided to keep.
So anyway, while we were talking about that, Nep killed the Silver Dragon, which is the first of these 3 bosses. So, you'll see him use the charge ability here, which makes everybody who is at low HP, yellow HP, get a free attack on just Steiner's turn, so you can get in a lot more attacks than you normally would.
This is basically the strategy that is used for most of the fights for the rest of the game. Is just getting people into yellow health and then using the ability charge to get a lot of free hits on.
By the way,
bad luck here.
We got our final party, the end of death, guys.
So bad luck here, Freya got stopped. The ability Locomotion prevents against stop, and I believe everybody except Freya has it. Freya just doesn't have the stones for it, so he has to go without. So a common theme you'll see for the rest of the game is that the runners will, with some exceptions, the runners will not be healing once characters are in yellow health, just because of charge and how they want to keep people in yellow so that they can get more attacks off.
And that's why the ability Distract becomes so important in Disc 4, is because anytime that a enemy will use a physical attack, you really need it to not hit your party members very frequently, so that they are able to just maintain their critical HP throughout the battles. And Distract is one of the main ways that we're able to do that.
These fights are all basically pushovers. None of these bosses are able to hit more than one party member at a time, and that pretty much makes it easy.
So Garland and Kuja cannot, but Silver Dragon has a lot of Shockwave is an attack used by Silver Dragon, as well as Nova Dragon coming up in this core. But Shockwave basically does about 1,000 damage to each of your party members, and if you kill Silver Dragon with only 1 or 2 characters alive because of this, then Garland can actually become a serious danger, because while Garland can only target single characters, he can incapacitate them very easily. Usually if you have 4 alive, then it doesn't matter, but if there's only 1 alive, then you might be stuck throwing Phoenix Downs forever. until he uses stop on somebody with locomotion, for example, and you can recover. In fact, some people have actually wiped the Garland before, including
Hey,
Hero
K-Rod.
helped you. Yes, I remember that, Ron. He was the one you
I've
sold
done
the
it.
diamond. I think he
I
was the
never
first one you
wiped.
sold the diamond.
No, Tiger, you wiped at Kuja.
Oh, I wiped 2 times at Garland.
Have you?
Yeah.
That makes me feel a hell of a lot better.
That's the last boss of Disc 3. So, these bosses are all not that bad. Most of the setup he did at the Pandemonium menu was actually set up for the next boss, because you don't have a good opportunity to set up most of your party members after this. So the next boss, the first boss of Disc 4, is Nova Dragon, and he is one of the most dangerous fights in the game. Yeah, and something that Nep just remarked on in Mumble, he hasn't touched Disc 4 in 4 months. We
I thought
did.
you said you practiced.
Because when we did ESA run together, I did Disc 2 and 4, so Nep is a little bit out of practice for this part of the game. So we'll see how he does.
It's okay, I'll be here to judge and shame him.
But what do you think about his Pandemonium menu?
It was okay. He didn't do anything wrong.
Wow. You are proud.
It's just a shame he was so low on money and everything. If only he'd skipped the red hat.
Both Nets and Webster in pretty boring cutscene parts. After just at the end of Disc 3, Astera gets destroyed, and Webster's after Melt the Gemini in that 9-minute break.
But actually, it's almost over. Should be like 3 minutes till the end of these cutscenes.
I'll be back.
Just a little bit of a reminder. The last time FF9 was run in a relay setting, one of the runners in the team who was ahead died 3 times to Nova Dragon. So
It was good times.
it was good times indeed.
Was that not the run you sold the Venetia Shield?
I didn't sell anything in the relay. I just couldn't. I just kept getting. I got shockwaved twice in 2 of the 3 fights, and then the 3rd fight, I got countered, and when I YOLO'd it, and that was the first time. Then the 4th time, I just played it super conservatively, and it wasn't an issue. But it made the race a hell of a lot more interesting, so we'll go with that. Chuck, were you proud of anybody at the beginning of Disc 3?
No.
Alright.
I actually did not see Webster's card tournament as it was happening around the same time. Neff was on Arc, and then our Mumble went down. But I saw that Webster lost some games. And Neff made a very shameful play in the first game, which immediately made me not proud.
Yeah, I see that all of the FF10 people are in the setup channel, which is good because Disc 4 is fairly short. Should be under an hour, well under an hour.
A solid Disc 4 would be about 45 minutes or less. And
Yeah.
he's almost at the end of Disc 3 right now.
Of course, not having practiced Disc 4 in months, we'll see what happens, but
1 hour and 45 minutes. Webster, you can make your comeback.
This is Disc 3.
Disc 4, let's go. Disc 4 is the best part of the game for most runners. It's just a really enjoyable part of the game to play, and I often do just Disc 4 just for my own amusement, because it's just such a fun part of the run to do. It's way faster paced than the rest of the game.
There are no massive cutscene parts except for maybe the beginning right here, and it's just a boss rush of really fun fights.
And that's Bobby Corwin, who's like the mascot of Team Choco, but his son. Much more adorable. Yeah, we kind of have this really like slow-paced cutscene here, but then the very next cutscene we get is like one of the most hype cutscenes in the game. And it just like really sets the tone for all of Disc 4, so I hope you guys enjoy it, because it's like one of the best cutscenes in the entire game, if not the best.
It really sets the mood. You are an FF9 runner. You are fighting all these dragons, and you're fighting Disc 4 as well. And it's just you versus the game. The Assault of the Silver Dragons.
But did Nep save just before the fight there? Wasn't really looking.
I do believe he did.
I assume he would. This is definitely top 5 hardest, or, yeah, fights in this game. So Nova Dragon has a lot of elemental attacks, which we're largely protected against due to the ribbon, diamond gloves, coronets, etc. So the most dangerous parts of this are the fact that he can counter physical attacks, not charge attacks though. Charge attacks can never be countered by anything. But he can counter your regular physical attacks with a physical attack of his own. Quite strong, and then he has Shockwave, which is a non-elemental, really strong attack.
Good luck,
Definitely
man.
hope not to see that.
Yes, for example, Aerial Slash will only damage Freya. It will be absorbed by Steiner and guarded by the other two. So you want to see attacks like that because it doesn't do a lot to you. And first turn Shockwave.
Oh,
It's exactly what you
beautiful.
don't want to see. If this puts Freya in yellow, it's not that bad. That it did. So now she's in charge, range, and she hasn't expended her auto life yet. So it's actually not that bad. Probably the best case scenario for a first turn Shockwave.
Certainly. Pretty much, if at any point 2 shockwaves in a row happen, which is very rare but can happen, you're usually dead.
Okay, I just realized I can count damage on the fly without delay. Notice that Zidane has auto regen going on here. He was at 300 HP after the shockwave, but now he's already at 1300. It's a very useful ability. Basically means you don't need to heal him in general.
Despite the opening shockwave, this has been a pretty good fight so far.
You can probably kill with a regular attack.
Yeah. This turn, he's probably gonna kill him.
21721. Four, two, three, one. There we go.
Yep, that was a solid Nova Dragon. Wait, did Webster just get heat while we were looking at Nova Dragon?
Oh wow,
Feel
I
the
feel
heat.
bad now. Yes. As I was saying earlier, on Taharka, Steiner has a 10% chance every time he attacks Taharka of inflicting the heat status, which basically instantly kills him because it's a status that instantly kills anyone who takes a turn, and Taharka will always take a turn because he's an enemy.
Webster said it only happened on the last turn, which doesn't save as much time. If that happens right at the start of the battle, you save over a minute.
It's still exciting to see.
Okay, right now, you will do some menus to put some abilities that will be useful for Marius, like body temp. That's very useful.
So most of the bosses you fight on Disc 4 are devils. So Devil Killer on everyone to do max damage.
And if you were here for Final Fantasy 1, you'll see a striking resemblance between their appearance and names.
Yeah, I actually... so you fight the 4 fiends here. Similar to how in the final dungeon of FF1, the 4 fiends all make a reappearance as more or less random, fixed encounters. But one thing that when this event started and I was looking at the splits, I saw for FF1 I saw Lich, then Kraken, and I was like, wait, that's not the right order. Until I remembered that that is in fact the order that you fight the fiends in FF1. It's just because I'm so used to the order from this game.
I'd just like to talk a bit about the first enemy that Nep ran into in Memoria. This enemy called Iron Man. He's not a threat anymore as long as you're fully healed, but back in the day, before we learned that holding L1 and R1 increases the physical damage you take, he was a very big threat because he could kill everyone from full health and just end your run instantly. I'm going to post a GIF in chat that was basically the perfect summation of what I'm talking about. He was the terror of runs, Mr. Cleave, and we were all scared of him. But
I feel like we're just picking all these pictures that are picking on Sereth now.
Oh yeah, the GIF. There we go.
So you'd run the game for about 9 hours and 10 to 20 minutes, and then this would happen, and then that would be it. And then you can go to bed.
9 hours?
The cleave.
Well, I mean, for him at the time, I think it was like 10 hours, because this was when
Fair
he was
enough,
still new to the game.
If I remember rightly, that was the run where he ran out of Phoenix Downs before Death Guys, so warped out, went to Black Mage Village, got 2 Ragtimers, came back, and on the hike back, he got cleaved.
Yeah. I watched that run. That was back when I had only just started watching runs of this game.
But it's okay, we still love him. So you can see now that Steiner, Freya, and Amaranth are not being healed, they're being kept in yellow. This is again just for the charge skill, so that they will always be in yellow to get a free attack off. They will not be healed to full until Death Guys at the end of the game.
So this is Maliris, or Marilith, or Carrie, or whatever name she wants to go by. Theirs isn't too tough. She doesn't have any multi-target attacks, and Reflect, which she did there earlier, is entirely useless because you're not using any magic. So you kind of just wail on her.
Uh-oh. This one might be bad if he kills.
Oh yeah, you do need to make sure that you survive her final attack, which is... when she dies, she does this attack called Raining Swords.
Oh.
Oh,
He didn't defend.
Zidane might die here.
You better defend or else this might be a game over. He did save before Nova Dragon though.
Oh,
Sorry, game over.
Rip. Rip. Kappa.
Yeah, that's the strat for that fight. You equip Auto Life, and then when everybody dies there, Zidane just gets up.
There goes chat.
We may or may not have deliberated about punking all of you in chat.
Well, this is the place where a lot of people here are seeing their very first FF9 speedrun. So we're actually going to be showing people who don't know that that's what you do. You basically just put on Auto Life and...
It definitely is an old joke, but
It never gets old. It is the old joke that never gets old.
It is possible for Meliris to attack Zidane, and then he dies and uses his auto life immediately. In that case, you actually do have to, as we were saying earlier, defend and heal to full health. Well, not defend, back row and full health. So then when you kill her and she does Raining Swords, then he will survive. And that's what you do otherwise. Alternatively, you can make Freya jump instead and have her be in the air when Raining Swords happens. And then Zidane can die and Freya will live.
so right now we're picking up a very powerful weapon for Amaranth.
Yeah, in the final dungeons, there's a bunch of places where you can pick up very good weapons, pretty much ultimate weapons in a lot of cases, for most of your party members. The only one, well, no, we get two of them. Counting the Excalibur 2 later. And here we get the Rune Claws for Amaranth. You can also get the Kane's Lance for Freya, and the Tower for Zidane. The one for Freya is actually worse, because the Holy Lance, which he has right now, does more damage if you have Holy Elemental boosting item equipped.
Nep has defeated Meliris, but for Tiamat, there's only victory.
See about that.
Get up on the Tiamat's back.
Picking up the Tower for Zidane is a bit more controversial, there's been people who've done it, but it takes extra steps on the screen where you might get an extra encounter because of it. So most people don't do it. It doesn't increase your damage by that much.
Uh-oh. First turn Jetfire, and since Tiamat is incredibly fast,
Oh, that's quite
Zidane has
bad.
already queued his attack, so he cannot throw a Phoenix down.
And he missed. Okay.
Also, Webster is fighting Earth Guardian right now,
Mm-hmm.
and he leads with a critical, which is
Nice.
incredibly helpful. I'll try to count both.
It was a low damage crit though.
Yeah, putting 100 wasn't too bad. It's better than no crit.
So he just spelled float. If you
Oh,
attack,
right. He's doing low damage because he's using the Rune Tooth. I just realized.
oh,
Of course.
the crit. So Tiamat just used the spell float. If you attack with the character that is floated, he can be wiped away.
Yeah, he gets snorted out of the battle.
But fortunately, that doesn't count for like abilities. So, because Steiner's charge isn't an attack per se, he's able to do it.
Nephew will kill here, don't worry about it. 14651.
Okay.
Oh, and Webster got a trance. I don't know how much damage he's done, so I don't know how much mileage he's still getting out of this, but... Oh, that was
Unless I
already
missed-
the last turn.
Unless I missed an attack. Oh, there we go. I did miss an attack. Never count two people running at the same time. If he gets cleaved, this can be very bad. Because Nep's Zidane is not fully healed. He only has 1406. I believe the max damage you can do with cleave is, well, with the lowest defense. I'm not sure where, but
I think it's in the 15 or 1600 range.
1786 is the number. But over here it might be 15 or 16. Still, it's best to just keep him fully healed.
So how's the levels? I didn't really paid attention of that.
I haven't actually been watching, but I know that Zidane has 2276 HP, which
Yeah,
means he's
that's
level 34.
34. You don't want to have any characters, preferably, especially Steiner and Zidane, with levels divisible by 5, because Lich, and more importantly, Death Guys, have the move level 5 Death.
Generally, a run in which you kill an average amount of encounters and nobody dies in experience fights would have Zidane is 34, Steiner is 28 or 29, Freya is 27 or 28, and Emmerich is 23 or 24. I think that's what Nep has, because I don't remember too much going wrong with him.
Yeah, I think he's just normal.
Then potion though.
Yeah. 34, 28, 27, 24. Actually, those potions looked a lot like yours, Zig. I think Nep has been training.
Please.
Where's Goran? He's on the case.
Oh, Nep's had 3 on this one screen apparently. This is one of the longer screens in the game. It's very rare to get through without any encounters. And one on the waterfall screen as well.
Coming up on the next screen is actually where one of the optional hidden bosses is, which is Hades. He was originally intended to be the final boss of the game, and then for whatever reason they were like, hey, we're going to make it Necron because reasons. He's a relatively easy boss, but it's the only other time that you will hear the music from the Festival of the Hunt, which is pretty cool that they gave him like his own song, which I like a lot. He's like hidden behind this big rock formation that you'll see as soon as he crosses the threshold onto that screen.
Rip.
So you'll see right here on this upcoming menu for the Kraken fight that Steiner and Freya will have on this thing called the Diamond Gloves. You just put on right now. This is incredibly important. Freya needs the Mithril, not Lamia's Tiara. But yeah, the Diamond Gloves give immunity to water, which is very important because he spams Waterga, and the core of the strategy involves him spamming Waterga and Steiner and Freya living, while Freya throws Phoenix Downs and Steiner charges, and that's how you slowly deal damage to him until he's dead.
But first, you have to kill these tentacles, because they do annoying counters and stuff.
Don't kill the tentacles with Steiner queued. Alright, it doesn't look like we're getting a charge off before his first turn with the tentacles dead, so I'm not proud. So we probably get Waterga off. So you see here that Steiner and Freya take no damage, and this is very good because if you sell your diamond gloves at the Pandemonium menu, you're in for a world of hurt because you cannot do your normal strategy. Not only can Steiner not tank the water guys, but if you give him the ribbon, that absorbs instead of makes it immune, so he can't charge. And that's very important because Kraken counters all physical attacks with leg. And you abuse the fact that charge cannot be countered to deal damage without all the legs.
He's choosing to do some regular attacks with Zidane anyway. He did get a counter from that earlier. Be able to kill this turn. Probably don't even need Amaranth.
Shouldn't need Amaranth. Nef is not healing right here. That's because you can no longer get any fights that attack the entire party. And it's just basically a waste of time and potions to heal. In fact, if he was in yellow, then if Zidane was in yellow, it would be even better because then he would be in charge for Lich.
So, upcoming the Lich fight, which is by far the easiest of the 4 Chaos Guardian fights. You can just protect against. You can protect against almost everything he does, which makes him quite easy.
We just stack our party members with antibody and locomotion so that they're unaffected by stop and poison, which makes it very, very easy. Hard to lose to. I've never heard of anyone wiping to this fight.
Somebody did a couple.
I'm sure it could have happened.
Yeah, I was
a newer
actually,
runner.
French runner Hide Tomatsu. He had the levels 35, 30, 29, 25.
Yeah.
So what happened was first he doomed Freya, and then level 5 death, and of course Freya died at the same time because of Doom. That is the first and only time I had ever seen somebody die there.
I was ecstatic when I saw that it finally happened.
I
had been waiting for so long for somebody to die to Lich.
I was very sad for him because it was a PB paced run, but
Yeah.
I was also amused.
Oh, Nemph almost forgot to revive Freya there.
That would be kind of annoying.
Again, we were talking, Svansig mentioned earlier about how Freya's current weapon, because it has a holy elemental, is able to do more damage with, in conjunction with the Mithril Helm and other accessories to boost her elemental holy attack. And this fight is like a prime example of that. So before you sell her dealing between like 5-5 and 6-5, here you'll be able to see her to probably deal all 9s at least once.
I think the lowest damage I've ever seen her do on this fight is 8008. That's just the lowest damage roll possible if she's not a very high level. you'll be doing usually like 8-9k. Something usually over 9.
Yeah, the reason for that is that Lich is also weak to Holy Elementals, so she's just doing insane damage.
Necron, the final boss, is actually also weak to Holy. However, he has more defense, so you do roughly the same amount of damage.
Yeah, there's level 5 death. I guess is a good check. Yeah, everything seems normal. Nobody gets hit by that. Good.
S's levels are 34, 28, 27, and 24. He just didn't do anything, which is definitely what you want.
Alright, for anyone in chat who's never been able to get Excalibur 2 from themselves, get hyped because you're about to see it in all of its glory. It's actually really underwhelming, just so you know.
There you go.
Excalibur.
Letting you read the text for a bit.
I'll be back after I find the tin armor.
And that's the Excalibur 2 with I don't know what time we were at, but probably almost 3 hours to spare.
I hope you don't forget to heal.
I hope you do forget to heal, Kappa.
I always heal and back row them here, just so I don't forget later.
This is one of those things that I have in my don't forget these things document, healing after Lich.
But yeah, Webster is almost at You're Not Alone as well.
This is the final area in the game. Crystal World.
The final area where you can get encounters too.
Two encounters on this screen is very unlucky. You usually get one, but it's very unlucky to get two. I've actually seen 3 on the screen before.
So I guess we should talk a little bit about Death Guys, huh? So he's coming up soon.
I do believe it is time to explain why we should be placing our bets.
Place your bets.
Okay, so Death Guys is the third to last boss in the game, and he is by far the most dangerous fight in the speedrun. This is because he always starts with the move Meteor, which is unavoidable, and there is no way to defend against the damage or mitigate it in any way because it's non-elemental, and it completely ignores your stats as well. So the damage it does is entirely random and can range from 50 to 4900 on your entire party.
A random multiple of 50.
Yes. So
go on.
If it does enough damage on all your characters to kill all of them, you're pretty much just dead. I mean, yeah, there's a very slight chance that you can come back because you put auto life on Zidane, and if he then follows up with Demon's Claw and misses, you can actually pull back the fight. But otherwise, usually you'll just spin and you die.
So basically, what you really need to do is have at least one person live, and then heal from there. If Zidane dies, but somebody else lives, it's okay because he has auto life, and you throw an elixir. Zidane is kind of like the tank. You take off all his offensive abilities and put on auto regen, auto life, HP plus 20%, and put him in the back row. And then from there, you try and revive Steiner and have him do 9999 with the new Excalibur too. But there's about a 1 in 8 chance. We had done the math at some point, and there's about a 1 in 8 chance that everybody dies, at which point, as Swansea said, except for the Demon's Claw miss, it's over. So as a kind of tradition in FF9 streams, we place our bets now, 4 numbers that are a multiple of 50, between 50 and 4900, to guess Nep's Meteor roll. Good luck, mate.
Good luck.
So
That guy's easy peasy.
It should go without saying that this is the safety save of the run.
The top 2 times on the FF9 leaderboards both save here.
Wimps. Also, as Neff is going into the most dangerous fight in the game, Webb is doing the second most dangerous fight, Abaddon.
Looks like Webster got a quick defend off, which is good because Abaddon did high wind. You definitely don't want to be undefended. Actually, Quinn would have lived.
Yeah, he actually would have.
But generally, you do not want to face a high wind without being defended. Bad things would happen.
Alright, so let's see if maybe he'll be able to get a turn in before the Meteor, but it's kind of unlikely, but hopefully Neff gets at least one good ATB with Amaranth or Steiner or so.
If Freya gets like perfect ATB and even skip Meteor with jump.
Yeah, it's kind of risky to do that though.
I don't like that strat because that means that there's one less person to tank Meteor and to potentially throw an elixir on Zidane. Here we go.
Okay,
Oh,
2 people
yeah,
alive.
good.
That's fine.
This is definitely livable.
So he's getting Steiner up as fast as possible because Steiner is going to be the major damage dealer for this fight.
Thankfully, enough people lived that he was able to get an elixir off of Steiner as opposed to just reviving him at single-digit HP. Because see, with the spin attack, if one more person died and Steiner would be at low health, he'd just be constantly reviving instead of constantly attacking.
He also got a counter there, so this is looking very good.
Yes, this is an excellent fight so far.
We take off all of Zidane's like offensive abilities and replace them with defensive ones, just so he has the chance to be able to just essentially just give Steiner whatever he needs. So we put auto life and auto regen on him for that reason.
And
if
another
he-
counter.
Yes, this is so far an amazing fight. Definitely what you want. Nothing to complain about at all.
When that guy closing close animation, you just revive everyone.
The
Miss.
miss.
Yes, he tried to kill off Zidane here so that he would be in critical HP for the next fight, but he missed himself because he doesn't have accuracy plus on right now.
You could have run Amaranth before the Twister, and then have Steiner kill himself and Amaranth throw an Avenger. But
regardless, that was a very nice fight.
one of the best fights I've seen in such a setting as this. definitely really nice.
I prefer Swanseg's ESA fight though. The first one.
It was just so perfect. It was just the perfect thing to proudly display FF9
Yeah,
to
that was
the
definitely
entire world.
my personal highlight of that run.
No, the highlight was the end where you threw your controller. You were like Kanye storming off stage. I loved every minute of it.
So
Oh,
here's
yeah.
Transkuja.
Transkuja is an interesting fight in that if you physically attack him, and after the attack his HP is under 50%, he will counter with Flare Star, which is a very bad attack you don't want to see, because it does flat damage to the whole party and you can't do anything to protect against it, except get magic evasion.
Is his,
So-
is his multiplied by 35 or?
Yes, level times 35. So what you do is you physically attack a few times to get him close to half health, and then after that it's not safe to do that anymore, so you just take the charge. And as we said earlier in Kraken and Nova Dragon, charge cannot be countered, so you just abuse that until the fight ends.
Holy
Well,
moly, mate.
Webb is going into the Pandemonium menu, so good luck to him.
I will be watching you.
Chuck has the list open already.
I always have the list open. If you suicide Zidane, you'll kill. Or if you just attack with Zidane, I think. Solution 9 swag finish.
Trying to finish it off with the swag solution 9. Very nice.
Transkuja does counter Dines, however, since he died to it, then obviously that's not an issue.
GG.
Avoided sending the guy a year. A good sell menu, no mistakes.
Yeah, and Webb's a lot less tight on Gil than Nep was. Largely because well, a few factors. I think Webb didn't buy the Adamant hat, probably. And also
He did buy the Adamant hat,
Oh, did he? Okay.
but the most
I
important
just-
thing is that he won cards, so he did
Yeah.
not spend the 9,000 gil.
Okay, here's the final battle against Necron.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Necron's pretty cool.
While most of the game up until now has been kind of luck reliant, Necron, with one exception, well, technically two, but generally one exception, is basically entirely skill based. You have like a 99% chance to not die as long as you do everything correctly. But if you do things incorrectly, it is very easy to die. So it's like the final test. Do one of you want to explain how it works?
Okay, so we use a rather peculiar strat. So how Necron works is he has a main body which does attacks in a pattern of blue shockwave, Grand Cross, Neutron Ring, then 3 blue shockwaves, Grand Cross, Neutron Ring, and repeats that over and over. Then there are also 3 other ATBs. He actually has 4 ATBs, even though there's only one target. and the 3 other ATBs cast all kinds of extra spells like Firaga and Reflect, or no, not Reflect, Protect, Shell, Meteor, all that good stuff. And it deactivates those dummy ATBs
when somebody is dead.
Yeah.
So if Nep were to suicide immediately with Zdainsteiner or Amaranth, then he should be able to avoid these spells. Did you mention Freya jumping and all?
No.
Alright.
So I forget exactly why this works, but for whatever reason, so you can jump with Freya over the Grand Cross and Neutron Ring attacks, which will enter into the phase where he just does blue shockwaves.
Yeah, so basically after the first blue shockwave, Protect. That's not good, now I have to skip it twice. But basically, after the first blue shockwave, Necron will attempt to cast Grand Cross, which is a very long and annoying attack which inflicts random status ailments. But as you can see now, nobody is a viable target right now. Everybody's either dead or in the air. Thus, he tried to use it, but it failed because there was no target, and so he just completely skipped it and is now back using Blue Shockwave.
You know, honestly, I just realized something, that the reason those dummies don't come back is just because we keep Amaranth dead. I thought for the longest time that I had to do something with doing the skip.
Actually, Trilogy said that certain dummies work with 2 people alive or 3 people alive, but their ATBs are super slow and they just never get another turn again.
He's very weirdly programmed, this Necron. But, so what you see here, normally after the first jump skip, he would be reviving people and then starting to kill him. But because you can't do enough damage before Grand Cross when he's protected, he just had to wait it out and wait for Protect to run out, do a second jump skip. And now that's run out, he can start reviving people and hopefully kill him.
Because after you skip the first Grand Cross, he uses it again after 3 more blue shockwaves. So there's kind of a time limit. So what Nef did is just waited it out, took 3 blue shockwaves, and then skipped it a second time. And you see by this time Protect is worn off, so now he can start dealing damage. And he will be able to kill enough, or do enough damage to kill him.
It's pretty much just smooth sailing from here. Just get your attacks in, call it a night.
And make sure the ATB hold.
Or just get a crit and don't worry about it.
Yes, that too. But you see right here.
So time's coming up. Toju, you ready? I hope he is. He's in the channel.
Good to go.
Okay, very nice.
Whoa, whoa. Team Canada on the backs of Team Mog right here.
I support Team Canada.
No, you don't, Chuck. Don't lie. You're not even Canadian.
GG Nep.
GG.
Very-
GG.
It was a run.
Congrats.
Well done, man. Now, let's watch Toju doing FF10, I
Good
believe.
luck to Toju.
Thank you, thank you. Best of luck.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck. Good luck.
Good luck, Luke.
It's gonna be very busy in this chat for the next hour or so.
Yeah, the start of the F10 is pretty slow going, so we'll mostly leave commentary to 9 for the first hour or so, which is
That's
basically the
okay.
rest of
I
9.
think I'm just gonna duck out anyway and enjoy watching now.
Alright, sure. See you later.
So,
Thank you,
yeah,
Kev,
thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Had a good time.
It's nice to have you here. I think I'll stick around until Webster finishes. Then I have things to do.
So 9:28:51 for Nep on FF9.
Pretty good. Yeah.
66 encounters.
That is incredibly bad.
Yeah, that's even more than our ESA run.
It's worth noting the first skip of FF10 is actually just the intro. You can press select to skip the intro, which is only added to the English release.
Saves about, is it a minute and a half or something?
A bit more than that, I think, but yeah.
The skip doesn't exist in the Japanese version, strangely enough.
Right, yeah, they only added it for English and then like HD and everything.
Okay, I will leave the channel, by the way, so you can commentate better.
See ya, Tiger.
Sure,
Thank you
take
very
it.
much. Bye, Tiger.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, a common question in speedrunning chats is like, is this faster than the Japanese version? Because a lot of runners in other genres do that a lot. And strangely enough, for FF10, the answer is no, simply because of the fact that you can't skip the opening cutscene. Also, the Japanese runners ban certain skips, so the time is longer because of that as well.
Right, yeah. FF10 is one of the few FF games that's actually faster on English.
Thank you, Doji. It means a lot.
You're welcome. It's a tribute.
It's a shame you couldn't run today, Pocky, but you're running.
But you'll
in
be
spirit.
running in spirit, yep.
That's a small consolation, but thank you.
I don't know.
Anyway,
if,
Toju's probably a better choice. He's good.
I don't know.
Just
if
be
running
happy
with
that you're
Pocky in
running on the
spirit-
winning game.
Wow.
Shots fired.
I don't
For
know if
those
running
who-
with Pocky in spirit is a good thing or not, though.
True.
It's hard to tell.
Okay, so we got 2 minutes in.
There's
and
definitely something involving 301 coming in.
Yeah, so Palki was supposed to run for Team Mog today, but he was having some disk issues recently, so we switched it over to Toju.
I guess since people are asking, we should clarify, this is indeed the original PS2 North American release. It's also going to be the longest game on this build today. It's about 10.5 hours for the any percent run, which makes it the longest any percent Final Fantasy category.
Define today.
Well, depends what time zone you're in.
I'm sure
Today
there's at
in
least
America.
one time zone that works.
It's also worth noting that, similarly to 9, renaming Titus doesn't... Well, the act of renaming him wastes time, of course, but the length of his name doesn't affect like text or anything, so... Besides
only
the
ever
time
come
also
up-
naming him...
Found one line where Titus gets mentioned by name.
Yeah, exactly.
Ever.
Which is optional. I think there's 2 instances of it, but I am not sure. But it's like not spoken dialogue, and it's optional, so...
Where is that anyway?
Kilika.
Yeah, Datto says it just after you do the sending.
Over on Team Choco, Webster is nearing the end of Disc 3 in FF9. He just at the part of the game where Kuja destroys Terra, so a couple of minutes and he's on to Disc 4.
You can actually turn off the subtitles in FF10, but if you do that, it's really, really bad because then you can't interrupt the dialogue at all. You have to listen to everything, which would waste so much time.
Yeah, but think of all the extra breaks we would get.
I don't think we need any more breaks in this game.
Any percent no line skipping.
Oh, the excitement. Let's add an extra hour or 2 for no reason.
Palki, can I ask you something?
Absolutely.
Can you teach me how to blitz?
No. I get 301s. I'm bad at this.
That's a good point. I should be asking Seraph instead.
And Sarah isn't any better at Blitzball. Gaddy is the Blitzball king.
It's definitely not Flubber. I saw him losing 3-0 the other day.
Hey! It's all orangey.
Blitzball a pretty big deciding point in the run, and Blitzball kind of changes a lot of strat you'll do in the later bosses. But we'll get to that in like a few hours from now. So. This is like Dreams Anakin right now. I think, for whatever reason, a lot of people seem to think this is like 1,000 years in the past or whatever, but that's not the case.
Well, it might be because they say that about 10 times.
Tidus thinks that's the case.
Yeah, it's what they imply at the start of the game, but yeah, it's not quite that.
It's because Tidus doesn't understand what's happened as well as the viewer doesn't really understand, or the player or whatever.
It's because he's affected by Sin's toxin, let's be honest.
Of course.
Head's all foggy like.
But yeah, Dreams Anakin's a real place, well, real-ish place. It exists on the same timeline as Sparrow later on.
It begins.
But the only way to get there is via Sin.
Yeah, I think it's like so far out to sea or something. And Sin essentially protects it, so if anyone gets close by building Machina, Sin destroys it.
The Machina are against the teachings of Yevon.
There are exceptions.
This is just gonna be one big fest of everybody quoting FF10 the whole time, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
Kuno.
Yeah, since this game actually plays the audio, and like a lot of us here have pretty much memorized all the dialogue that plays since we played it so much.
It's pretty great.
So we're probably going to be quoting it a lot, and maybe a lot of jokes will go to people's heads because of that.
Hockey's the bad guy, right?
Only in one fight. Hashtag Tremedy.
Alright, so these first 3 fights with the Sin Scales actually have some strategy to them, even though all you can do is basically attack. So like the first Sin Scale here, there's going to be like 3 consecutive fights. The first one will never do anything. You can just defend all day or never take an action. So what we do on the first one is like defend with Tidus, and then that will mean he'll get his turn quickly on the second fight, and it kind of changed the turn order for the rest of the fights. Since this is like kind of technically one fight where 3 like waves keep going, the ATB or CTB or whatever carries on through all of the fights. So you can also defend with Tidus on the second fight. So now Tidus' turns will be sooner for the rest of the fights. And now on this third one, if you didn't defend at all, then the Sin Scale will always attack. Well, pretty much always attack. but since we set Titus's turns to be kind of sooner by doing defend, Titus will get the turn before the Sin Scale here. And only the middle Sin Scale does any attacking, the other two never attack.
Yeah, before the strat was discovered, killing this upcoming boss in under 13.5 minutes was pretty solid, but now, unless you get very bad damage rolls, it's pretty much guaranteed.
Yeah, doing that saves about 4 seconds, I think.
And surprisingly, it was only discovered recently, like a few months ago, by Seraph during the segmented attempts. So it's actually one of the newer strats to Final Fantasy X.
Yeah, it's kind of odd. You wouldn't really think to defend would save time.
Yeah, in the very first battle of the game.
How did you even find that out? Did you just accidentally defend once?
No, it was logical. I was looking at the AI and everything.
Thank God.
I knew what I was doing.
This fight right here has a big time variance, right?
Yeah, it's pretty random. Basically, you need to hope for a bunch of crits. The first thing you're going to do is use Auron's Overdrive because you're forced to, but also because it would be useful. Overdrives in this game kind of have a mini game attached to them. It's going to be a button sequence for Dragon Fang. The faster you do this button sequence, the more damage you'll deal. And by doing the sequence correctly, it inflicts a delay attack on the enemies that it hits. So this will delay Amos' turns, so that you can basically have more turns later on. And Amos is like 2400 HP, and so we basically need crits and high damage rolls to kill it as quickly as we can.
Luckily he has a lowered luck value, so we can crit more often.
Right, yeah, he's got 10 luck, so the crit chances here are higher than most boss fights. Most boss fights have 15 luck, so you have about 5% extra crit chance.
However, as we all know, that doesn't mean anything.
Right, yeah.
No crit so far.
No.
He has a 786 HP, which is very bad.
And actually, I think we're a little bit low on damage because Spiral Cut was quite low.
Yeah, as with almost all of the overdrives in this game, the minigame attached to them has something to do with how the damage works out. So for both Dragon Fang and Spiral Cut, the faster you successfully complete the minigame, you'll get more damage.
So that right there is pretty much the stock time to kill him.
Yeah,
unless you get bad damage rolls, you can get another demi, and of course you can get fewer ones if you get crits and stuff, but that's pretty much the stock.
Yeah, exactly.
This fight coming up is another one that's recently been altered to be 100% consistent, give or take. We used to just skip turns until we could attack the tanker, but recently we've got it so... Oh no, we used to just... Yeah, we'd skip turns to attack the tanker, and then just attack away. The fight works in a strange way. It doesn't work on HP or turn order, it works on when you attack. So we figured out if you attack an attack straight away and then delay your last attack, you can destroy the tanker in 3 turns. Which saves again like 15 seconds.
Well, Webster also gets the Shockwave opener. Pretty bad start, at least he got a counterattack.
So yeah, just to know, attack... Oh.
So there are 2 ways to trigger being able to get the tanker. One of them is Auron's second turn, while the other one is Titus's 4th turn. And you saw Toju there swapping weapons to be able to get Titus's turn there quicker, because his dialogue is a lot shorter than Auron's second one.
Yeah, imagine looking at that battle for the first time. It looks rather bizarre, like attacking yourself and switching weapons, but that is generally the fastest way to go about that battle.
Yeah, the idea is by switching weapons you get your turn again faster, and you can attack the tanker on either Auron's second turn or Titus's 3rd turn. And if it's Auron's second turn, then you get like a short cutscene, and the tanker will take like 7 hits to die. But if it's Titus's 3rd turn that lets you get it, then you don't get a cutscene, and it's 3 hits to kill the tanker. So we change weapons so Titus gets his turns faster, and then Auron could attack an enemy, but then another one spawns and he has to run to the enemy, so it's fastest for him to just attack himself. And if he defended, then he would get 2 turns before Tidus got 3 turns.
You are sure? This is it. This is your story. It all begins here.
Yeah, that was actually kind of funny timing. It's like Nova Dragon was getting sucked up by Sin if you look at it the right way.
I'm not sure Nova Dragon deserves that.
Yes, he does.
My old man?
Dragon deserves everything that's coming to him.
I thought about a lot of things. Like where I was, what I got myself into. I started to feel lightheaded, and then sleepy. I think I had a dream of being alone. I wanted someone, anyone beside me, so I didn't have to feel alone anymore.
Over on FF9, it looks like Webster has a level 35 Zidane. This is not preferable to level 34 because it means that he will die to level 5 death from Lich and Death guys. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on those fights.
It's possible to try to fix this by killing an encounter at some point, but you have to kind of watch out so that you don't accidentally get Steiner to level 30 and just only make your problems worse.
Yes, the 2 enemies that speedrunners usually kill in order to fix their levels are the enemies Veteran, which is the big one-eye thing. You might know it as Ari-Man from other games. And it gives a tiny bit of experience, and Freya can one-shot it. The other enemy is called an Ash. It's this flying goat thing that casts Reflect a lot. And you can kill it with 1 round of charges and some physical attacks. And it gives a lot of experience. But as Wanzik said, it's very dangerous to do that without confirming with your experience values that you won't push somebody else into a level 5 range. For example, something I've seen a lot is that Steiner would have level 29, and then the runner might try and push Zidane to level 36, but in the process Steiner would become 30, and that's even worse.
Chimera being very nice and killing Steiner for him. You would suicide Steiner in this section on a random encounter anyway, because you want him to be crit from Alaris.
Just how I can fight here is just spamming attack with Tidus. Preferably you get a preemptive so the enemies don't get a single turn. But you can also be ambushed where they'll all get a turn, which is much worse. This is just a normal fight. So.
Also on FF9, Webster just got cleaved by Iron Man. I said earlier that is an attack that we used to think could wipe the whole party and there'd be nothing you could do about it. However, he did get a low roll, and not only that, but we now know that by refraining from holding L1 and R1 to try and flee, then the damage you get would not be boosted. So it's safe as long as you're fully healed.
So contrary to common sense, this fight here is one of the few fights in the game where what just happened, preemptive strike, is bad. As a matter of fact, getting ambushed is the optimal thing to happen because it requires less defense to end the fight. So basically looking at, I believe, 3 defense for an ambush, 4 for regular, and 5 for a preemptive. So this is actually the worst possible scenario, despite it being a preemptive.
Yeah, exactly. The battle ends after Giussiano has had 3 turns, so getting preemptive is slow.
The preempt chance across the game is, like, for pretty much any battle is 12.5%, and then ambush is the same. We do pick up a weapon later on though, which removes the chance of ambush and adds it to the preempt. So that's in a few hours' time, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much every battle until about 4 hours in will have a chance of being an ambush, which is inconvenient.
I do believe, however, that's one of 3 bosses that you can get an ambush or a preemptive. Unless Click is different.
I don't think you can get one on Click. You can get one on Tross, obviously.
Yeah, Tross.
Yeah, not Click.
Okay, then one of 2.
Yeah, I can't think of any of us.
Figures, there's only a couple bosses where you can get preemptives and it's bad.
Preemptive Tross would be pretty good. Kind of depends on your grenade count, though.
Yeah, and ambush is not the end of the world either for Tross.
I had made it out of the frying pan and into the
It depends on the damage roll on the grenades as well. There's a lot of factors, I think,
was gonna
really.
die in this place.
But we'll come to that once we get to Tross.
Oh no, Webster did not defend. He might die here.
No, we did that already.
Oh no, don't die, Webster.
Rip.
You're making the Canadian acting scene very proud, Chuck. That was so believable.
I try my best.
I can tell.
I believed it myself.
Need fire.
So I guess for those of you who haven't played FF10 before, one thing you'll see me doing, and you'll see Blobber doing it as well, is that even if we're not saving, we'll be touching the save sphere at various points, because unlike past Final Fantasy games, it actually is a full heal, both HP and MP. So even if we're not saving, it's sometimes beneficial to just activate it and then exit out.
Yeah, there's no tents or anything in this game, you just get a free heal for touching a save. It's really, really powerful.
I think the run would be very different if that wasn't available. Like, if tents were available.
Not really. There's nothing where you desperately need the heal.
I think the MP would be more of an issue if it wasn't an option.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I guess you can easily just buy high potions and stuff.
So most of the game you have Yuna in the party, and she's available. However, if you don't use the save sphere, she's going to run out of MP pretty quickly, especially everything up to and including Mushroom Rock Road.
And contrary to popular belief, there's very few ethers in this game. Well, that are obtainable within.
I sometimes forget they even exist.
There is one in this in these ruins actually that it's not too far off, but yeah, there are quite rare. Yeah.
I need food.
I agree, Titus.
You mean Palki?
I didn't want to say that. That sounds a bit insane.
No, it's you've got that up. You've got that reputation anyway.
It was a bad call.
You cried.
Your team lost because of you.
You came to say that?
It's been 10 years. I thought you'd be crying.
Who? Me?
You cried.
You cried.
Webster coming into the Tiamat fight around the same time that Boju will be going into Click.
Just hold on. I'll get more wood.
Click, there is only victory.
For you.
Oh, go on.
You should probably talk about Click.
There's not much to say. First phase is just attacking.
Does anybody ever die to Click?
If you get greedy, yes.
You can't die to the first phase. Unless you don't attack or something.
Yeah, the first phase is pretty much just hoping for either crits or evades. Which we're not getting either of.
Have you had a single crit yet?
No. That just means I'm gonna crit a grenade.
Definitely.
One evade, that's a pretty event.
Pocky needs to step his game up.
Yeah, I agree.
And
Well,
also
if
add
it
some
were me,
backup
I would
too.
have healed there, so I don't have to heal in the next phase. So
That's a
Mine's
horrible
still-
strat. What the
He
hell?
can still take a hit at his current HP.
he can take one hit, but then you either have to risk him dying or. Well,
I'm totally gonna risk him dying.
Do you get 2 turns in a row if you heal?
Yes.
I don't think so. Oh, maybe you do.
you get
If
2
you
turns in a
heal
row
on the
regardless.
last turn in the first Click phase, you get another turn straight afterwards.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, so this fight introduces grenades, which, whilst you have Riku, are fantastically overpowered. They deal 3 times Titus's normal attack, but getting them can be a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, a lot of this first portion is just heavy grenade management.
Okay.
The game forces you to use
Two
one straight
steal.
away. Yeah, stealing in this game is actually relatively simple. The first steal you do is guaranteed you'll get an item, and then for every successful steal it'll have. So the second steal there was a 50% chance, and then it's 25 if it works. And you can steal infinitely, except your chance will just get exponentially smaller.
Okay, so Toju's left this fight with 2 grenades, which is generally the benchmark. That's where you want to leave it with. You get multiple opportunities to steal later on, but you want 6 before you head into Tross. 5 isn't too much of an issue. So yeah, that was a pretty nice fight. Not much good luck, but nothing bad.
Hey, Riku did crit.
Yeah, but it was 50 damage.
Yeah, it's fine. It's the thought that counts.
I don't know. It's the worst kind of crit.
All I know is Palky's not critting.
Why you do? Why you do?
I think Pocky is a fiend in human disguise.
Whoa.
We kill it?
Yeah. So yeah, the idea is to get 6 grenades before Tross, or 5 at minimum. Every enemy from here until that boss has grenades for a steal. It's 1 grenade for a normal steal and 2 grenades for a rest steal. And rest steals are a 1 in 8 chance.
I would like 8 grenades.
8 grenades happens quite a lot. Because if you enter the boss with 5 grenades and then steal from Tross, Tross's rest steal is 3 grenades, so then you end up with 8, which is more than you need. But not like it's not really a bad thing. Having spares is actually quite nice for later on. But it would be very nice if we could guarantee the rare steal. It would change everything at this early portion. If we could guarantee that we'd get 3 grenades though.
Now, getting extra grenades gives you a few different options of ways you can use it. One thing you can do, if you get a rare steal and click early, you could potentially throw a 3rd grenade, but there's other options as well that we can point out when we get there.
Fed! He said you can stay if you make yourself useful.
You understand me? All right.
So this a simple, extremely long tutorial explaining the sphere grid, and Toju just healed to be safe there. It's
yeah,
not
typically we
necessary.
wouldn't do that, no. I think he was at the threshold where he could be potentially 2-hitted by piranhas in the next encounter, but normally we wouldn't do that.
There's 2 tutorials like this in the game, and you can't interrupt either of them. Just gonna have to mash through it.
Thankfully, you don't have to actually do anything. You can just mash X, which is not the case for like some other Final Fantasies like FF12. If you go through the tutorials on there.
Interestingly, it shows you the standard grid here, regardless of which grid you chose at the start of the game, if it's international. This game, or this version, only has the standard grid, so it's kind of irrelevant, but this like tutorial is always the same.
It's not active now. We're gonna go down, and then we should be able. Okay.
I just want to make something clear. If Tidus, aka Palki, does bad stuff, I'm not sabotaging the run. That's merely coincidental.
Well, you're not intending to sabotage the run, but your name has its effect on things.
That's too complex for the game, I hope.
It's okay, we still love you.
Nice.
Okay, so that 2 grenades is a rare steal, which is 1 in 8 chance. Saves a little bit, but not hugely necessary because of the 2 grenades coming out of the fight.
Does that mean that you can avoid a steal later?
Yes,
he can avoid
yeah.
1, which saves 1 turn.
Or I could use one on the upcoming fight, potentially, as well.
That was a really, really nice fight. So he got 3 grenades from that fight, and he also got an overkill on the 2 piranhas. That's an extra 1 AP, which is somewhat significant. And he also got 2 mana spheres, which is also really useful later on.
I'll use it here just to show off.
Yeah, so this fight, there's a couple of different strats that you might take if you, just depending on how many grenades you have. Since Toju has 5 grenades here, the most ideal would probably be to steal 1, so he's at 6, and then use a grenade to kill them both with overkill.
Well,
that's
now
he's
that's
taking a
the
different strat. That's what I would do. But you can also just steal extra grenades here, I guess, and then not steal on trust. Like, a lot of runners would take different routes and strats here, just depending on what they like doing.
So yeah, using the grenade in that scenario where I still had to do 2 steals is probably not any faster. The really main benefit to doing it in that scenario would be that one is the piranhas get overkilled, which is more AP, which we can explain later why it's important in the early game. And also, collecting speed spheres is a very important part of the run, and as you saw, I got 2 there, which is actually low, but it's any bit counts.
Yeah, I think you have like a 70% chance to get a speed sphere drop from these piranhas from each pack, so it's like 2 enemies. Overkill doubles the amount of sphere drops you get, so that just means you got the drop on one of the piranhas and then the drop on the other one. For almost every enemy in the game, the sphere drops are just 7 and 8 for the common and then 1 and 8 for the rare, if there is a rare. But these piranhas are very kind of odd in that they have a 10% chance to not drop any at all. Oh, sorry, a 20% chance to not drop any at all.
Over on FF9, Webster is fighting Kraken right now. Looks like he has a pretty good fight going. He's just getting legged, which is what you would prefer. And he's slowly going to the end of the game.
So in this Tross fight, you just pretty much just use 6 grenades and a Tidus attack to kill him off. But the first grenade kind of decides how the battle goes, because if it deals 350 or more damage, that will instantly trigger Tross to swim away. But if it deals less than that, you can throw an extra grenade in before he swims away. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, potentially an ideal scenario is because Rikku will go first. If you throw a grenade with her and it's sub 350, even if Tidus has a turn, you're better off defending, because otherwise if you attack you're going to hit that threshold and he's going to end up doing that swim animation twice. Whereas in this case he only did it once.
So I just want to mention that Tross and Kraken look pretty similar. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying.
One small subtlety in Toju's Tross fight there is he healed Rikku in the middle of it, which will give her affection, which I will remind him of later.
Yes.
We're trying to force the Auron affection route, which means we force a cutscene with Auron, as opposed to Rikku, who would be most of the casual runs would have Rikku scene, or it could be Lulu. But yeah.
Most people get either Rikku or Lulu in casual, but basically you have a choice from 4 people to ride the snowmobile with on your way to Macalania Temple. Rikku, Lulu, Auron, and Kimahri. The speedrun tries to force one with Auron, as his is just the fastest to set up and watch. So, but if you do things like heal Rikku with Tidus, then Rikku will gain more affection, and so you have to do a few extra things to build Auron's up, so that his comes out on top.
Yeah, typically we would hope to not have to heal Rikku there, but unfortunately one of the downsides to doing sub 350 on a grenade is that he's going to get a turn, and he attacked Rikku and put it below the threshold of the charge attack, so pretty much have no choice in that scenario. I suppose you could actually heal Rikku with herself, but that would be ill-advised because grenades are your pretty much only damage dealing in that fight.
And you could have healed before, but that's just preference.
Nah.
Well, that heal shouldn't matter unless you heal her again later on. Just for the cutscene.
Yeah.
I can just do extra affection routes stuff anyway, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know, Luke will catch up to us.
Yeah.
Just you wait until Jersey High Road.
Oh.
You'll see on Webster's stream that he just got the Earth shaked, and that actually, well, it didn't help for the purposes of the speedrun, but Zidane and Emmerich actually got healed by it, and Stein and Freya have float on with auto float, so Earthshake is totally useless from his perspective. Just another reason why he is the easiest boss in this core, by far.
Yeah, the only good thing about that is he doesn't have to heal Zidane after the fight now.
Really, an Earthshake doesn't hurt too much, even though Zidane and Emmerich do not attack as part of the charge. You do so much damage just with everybody attacking, and in particular Freya with her holy boost, because Lich is weak to holy, that it really doesn't hurt too much.
Yeah, it's pretty much always a 2-turn fight.
Uh-oh. Webster tried to walk towards the Excalibur too, but accidentally triggered this cutscene, so he has to go back and get it.
Yeah, that happens quite often to people. If you don't just walk straight right, it's very easy to walk into the trigger here.
I like to walk down slightly just because I'm paranoid I'll do that.
Why didn't you say so earlier?
I didn't get a chance to. Everyone thought we were a fiend.
I didn't realize that was written by Enkidu.
Yep.
Oh, we means you.
It all comes together.
Who are you guys anyway?
We're Al Bhed. Can't you tell? Wait, you're not an Al Bhed hater, are you?
I don't even know what an Al Bhed is.
Where are you from?
Xanarkand. I'm a blitzball player. Star player of the Xanarkand Abes.
Did you hit your head or something?
You guys hit me?
Oh, right. Do you remember anything before that?
There's a lot of cutscenes in FF10 now, so we get plenty of time to enjoy Webster's Endgame in FF9.
I find this an interesting question from chat. Is there any risk in a game over for FF10?
Tell about Xanarkand.
Yes.
About life there, blitzball, and Sin's attack.
Well, short and simple answer.
There's a couple bosses that can be quite finicky, but if you play everything completely safe, then not really, no.
It's not like 9 where you have, say, death guys.
No, there's nothing like that. Like I said, if there are a couple of bosses that can kill you, but if you do everything like extra safe, then you can be safe from everything.
They say your head gets funny when Sin is near.
But it takes time to make yourself safe from like low chance things, which we would normally not do.
Can you be safe from double Shrimedy? On Tidus and
Double
Mara?
Shrimedy,
Using a Petrified Grenade will eliminate that, if you really want to be safe.
Yeah, there is
Well,
no Xanarkand.
game over.
you have one.
Sin destroyed it 1,000 years ago.
Unless,
I mean-
because, yeah, you'd game over.
So no one plays blitzball there.
You could still salvage that.
Huh?
But we can talk about that later, I guess.
What do you mean, 1,000 years ago? But I saw Sin attack Xanarkand.
On the last
You're saying that
random battle for Webster, not this one right here, but the last one, he actually got leveled 5 death by Crystal Lich, which actually did kill Zidane, and that's very bad because Zidane has to flee. So he had to very slowly wait for the Phoenix Down to go off and then him to get another turn. So again, Death Guys, which is the next fight coming up, and definitely the most dangerous of the
might find someone you recognize.
probably all the fights in the game. He does use level 5 death, so Webster will have to play conservatively to avoid a bad situation.
It's not particularly much more dangerous than normal if Zidane's level 35. I mean, he also has normal death, which is basically the same thing since it just kills one person.
You'd rather stay here? Okay, I'll go tell the others. Wait here.
But it just means that he's gonna kill Zidane harder when he's in closed mode, which is when he can use those moves.
You might upset someone.
Yeah, it's
sorry. It's basically the equivalent of casting Death on Zidane, which is something that can happen always anyway, but it just has more of a chance for Zidane to die as opposed to a turn that Death Guys wastes because nobody is susceptible to it.
Some kind of holy place? Yeah, right, I thought. Since when?
Anyway, again, Death Guys leads with an attack called the Meteor. It does a random multiple of 50 from 50 to 4900. It is unavoidable, you can't do anything to protect against it. All you can do is pray for low damage rolls. So if you want, you can place your bets in chat. Good luck, man.
The fight was quite nice to Nip earlier. Let's see how he treats Web.
I'm gonna go for some memorable numbers. Zwanzig and Nep might remember these.
Is that ESA?
Yes, that is ESA.
Nice. How do you even remember that?
I remember numbers.
You're crazy.
It's his thing.
Here we go.
50. That was pretty
And
nice.
50 on Zidane. That's what you want to see. Unfortunately, Steiner did die, but he can throw an elixir on him instantly, so that is definitely a good outcome. If Freya doesn't die on the next turn, she can start attacking as well. Nah, she did.
Blitzball.
Counterattack is really nice so far.
This is looking really similar to Nep's fight so far.
Except for who survived Meteor, this is exactly what happened.
It's very likely Zidane will chance.
Let's distract there, putting him work. Making Death Guys miss with his Demon's Claws.
Yo. Hiya.
You wanna try that move one more time?
Final.
Oh.
You know amateur. Who you play for?
I think Webb's trying to, yeah, suicide one of his characters.
What team you say again?
So that's to get Zidane in crit HP before the next fight.
Close to sin, and my head's all foggy like. So I don't know where this place is.
I think he actually could have ended it with Solution 9 before Death Guys got that final twister off, but then he wouldn't have had crit HP Zidane.
He could have suicided Steiner and then use Solution 9.
No, he couldn't, because Steiner's ATB wasn't full yet at that point.
Oh yeah, true. Well, use Twister, so it would have been, right?
Okay, back to the village. I'll get you something.
I mean, it wasn't full yet before that twister.
I felt like I could trust this Waka. So
I don't think
I just
he
had
really
to
lost
ask.
time doing that, because Solution 9 is kind of
It's true Xanadu was
a slow
destroyed
animation regardless.
1,000 years ago, so it's just a big pile of rubble now, isn't it?
Long time ago, there were a whole lot of cities in Spira. Big cities with machina, machines to run them. People played all day and let the machina do the work. And then, well, take a look. Sin came. And Xanac, yeah, that was about a... If you ask me, okay, is we gotta suffer. Of course, we must always... It's just that...
It was Waka and Riku.
But you from the Xanac and Daves, that was a good one, huh? Hey, I'm not saying that team never existed, yeah? But you gotta figure, a team living in luxury like that be pretty soft, eh?
I appreciate it, but at that time, everything that happened... Maybe if I could find... For now, I just live... Sure, it was hard not to
Reflect on the opener, that's very nice.
Hey, it's this way.
Yeah, so for the latter half of that fight, he's just going to only be using charge to attack, so Transcuter doesn't counter-attack with Flare Star.
Yeah, when a Transcuja is physically attacked, and his HP is under half health after the damage is dealt, then he will use Flare Star. But charge cannot be countered, so that's why he's doing the way.
Is he only one attack from death right now? I wasn't exactly counting, but with Reflect Opener he should be. I think he might have been able to kill that turn.
Of course, you can still get Flare Starred anyway. It is also an attack in his rotation.
Yeah, that's pretty unlucky.
He's probably able to just kill with Steiner, I'm pretty sure.
Not to my calculations.
No?
Unless I miss some attacks.
Well, I hope I didn't just tell him that.
I did miss some attacks. Never mind then, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I wonder why I missed them. Well done, mate. Only one more fight left.
Yeah, that was a really nice fight, besides the Flare Star, I guess.
You want to talk about the piranhas here? Or are they not very exciting?
Close to one encounter.
Yeah, it was actually.
Piranhas are kind of basically the first random encounter area. We'll typically get over 2 or 3 encounters here. And we don't have Flea yet, so getting an extra encounter is really annoying. We do need some AP though. Well, we don't really need AP, but it's really nice to get some AP here, and extra mana spheres. And potentially speed spheres as well. And you also get a random number of piranhas in the battle, of course, different formations. You can get either 2, 3, or 4 piranhas. And if you get like 4 piranhas, it's a huge waste of time, especially if it's an ambush. They can get like up to 7 extra attacks before you can do anything if it's a 4 piranha ambush. So you can lose like at least a minute here if you're unlucky.
Yeah, despite what it may look like, this is probably the biggest swing split before Blitzball in the run.
Yeah, you can definitely save or lose a ton of time here, just from some random encounters.
That particular Piranhas was actually very good because it was only 2 encounters, and the 2 encounters were the smallest possible encounters you can have.
Alright, yeah, it's pretty much best case scenario. Getting only 1 encounter is incredibly rare. I've only had it like twice in my life. Which I've gone through that area like hundreds of times, so
yeah,
it's probably like less than 1% chance of getting to a 1 encounter.
I thought then that Blitzball and...
So we talked earlier about how we kill Necron without him doing his bad attacks, Grand Cross and Neutral Ring. What we didn't really touch upon is the things that can actually go wrong in this fight, which I will now do to, you know, jinx Webster as I have been doing. So, there's really only one thing that is anything less than astronomically unlikely, and that's Meteor. So yeah, Necron can do Meteor as well. It's basically the same thing as Death Guises. And since we kill our party members off anyway at the start, we only care about Freya. So if Freya dies to Meteor, you're pretty screwed.
But something else was...
It's a very low chance for Meteor to even happen, and even if Meteor does happen, it's not an impossible... It's not an impossibility that Freya will die, or Freya will live. I think it's about 1 in 3 with the HP he has right now.
The reason that the other attacks don't matter is we give Freya auto-reflect before the fight. So, Flare and Holy and Firaga and everything will never hit her.
Basically, to skip Grand Cross, Freya must be alive when Blue Shockwave happens, and if Freya dies to Meteor, then Blue Shockwave gets off before you can revive her, then you're going to get Grand Crossed, and you better pray. But if you get Meteored and she dies, and you manage to revive her in time, then you can just proceed as normal.
There have been runs that still won after getting Grand Crossed. Because what Grand Cross does, if you don't know, it just inflicts a bunch of random status ailments on all your party members. And if you get really lucky with that, you can still win if you've almost already won. But if the next attack happens Neutron Ring, it's just over.
We'll get you something over there later.
So you can jump over it with Freya.
Generally, all these people who have completed runs, even though getting Grand Crossed,
Luzu and Kata are usually there.
they didn't fail the skip. What they did is they ATB held incorrectly, and so they got hit by the second time Necron tries to use Grand Cross, and at that point he's just one hit away from being dead. So all you need is either Zidane or Freya to be able to do a physical attack, and then you're fine.
Man, that's like the basics of the basics.
It is still possible to live if being Grand Crossed the first time. I've done it in practice after making some shameful errors, but it's very unlikely.
But generally, as soon as Freya jumps, the fight is over if you execute correctly. So, Luke, you ready?
Yep. Just tell me when it's time.
Hey, not bad. Okay, now, go present yourself to the Temple Summoner.
Any Blitzball player would know that prayer. It was the Blitzball sign for victory.
So Zidane might get another attack in
Time.
because he ATB held. Oh, there we go.
Nicely done.
Well done, mate.
Congrats.
Well done, Webb.